So I was asking, is it bad that I top off my Moscow Mule with just Tito's and no ginger beer?
No one's judging.
No?
No judgment zone here.
I mean, shit, we were just saying, like, this is the past 2.5 years I've been chubby. Like
chubby in your pants?
Only when I see deer.
It's that kind of party?
But realistically, it's like, I remember when my chest used to be, like I was just saying, I was never hard body, you know?
Yep.
Sometimes I had a 4-pack, but unless it was like IPAs now. And my stomach never was further than my chest. Now it's kind of like even.
I hear you, man.
And what was your response to that?
I don't even remember. It's just...
Find deeper spots in the woods?
Oh, yeah, we got to find deeper spots to hunt so we can burn some fucking calories.
Dude, I need some calorie burners.
In the East Coast...
Or bigger tree stands.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I need to start using Caddy Cowboys. Hang on, stand.
They're making the tree stands too light now. We're not burning enough on the way in.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone's worried about light this and ounces and pounds. It's like, fuck that. Give me the heavy shit. I need to lose weight.
Well, that's what he had wrote. He was like, ounces equal pounds. I'm like, dude, the thing... Somebody wrote on his comment and said... What is that thing? A fucking ladder stand?
I think I commented. I'm like, that's a whole lot of pounds.
It was comfortable.
Yeah.
I guess
you got to pay for comfort.
Yeah.
I'm all about quiet now. That whole comfort thing. Got to go for quiet.
Elaborate a little bit.
I was in a stand the other day, preset, old school, river, fucking field and stream stand, whatever. My father had it. We threw it up there. I was
made out of wood or
no. It's still, it's a decent stand, but it's just haven't been sat in a couple weeks or maybe a month, and I've never been in it. It's his stand, and I was hunting it the other day, and I just fucking makes noise.
Creaking.
Dude,
I can't stand that.
And that drives me mental.
Yeah.
Like, I'd go all through every hoop to do everything the right way, and then you'd go to move your foot, and it's like, and every deer just looks up and runs away. That's in your head. That's what you see.
Right.
So I was pretty disappointed, and then I went in my lone wolf the next...
Or were you just pretty?
I'm always pretty. I look good up there. I match. Whatever.
I match. I like that. I'm writing that in my notes. I match.
But, you sat in that fucking lone wolf stand, man, and it's so solid and quiet. And
you really like that thing, don't
I love it. I'm obsessed. And with the XOP stands, too, like the ones that you have.
Yep.
Trev got me all hooked on them. Like, I'm getting rid of all that other shit. I told my dad, I'm like, you just throw it away.
It's time to become a man and get a custom.
Dude, talking about becoming a man, you try your ambush yet?
No.
Dude, so you're not quite a man yet.
No. Okay. I've been ground and pounding with the old fucking loud bow. So
the loud bow?
What's that like?
What's that?
The gun. Tell me. The loud bow.
See, the problem with me and having a gun is this, like, whole thing comes back over me, like, when I was 15 years old and I was in the woods. And I just like killing shit.
Anything that moves, shoot.
Yeah, man.
You're like one of those dangerous hunters.
I get fucking morbid bad. Like, I just...
It brings back the turkey days, word.
My God. Like, I don't know, man. Just rolling fucking deer. Like, some days are just those days that I'm just like, fuck it.
What are you using?
On.
What are you using?
So, I got a gun that was...
old as fuck.
Yeah, it is. The gun was handed down to me from my father. It's a cool. Remington 870. My dad bought it when he was 16 years old. I've probably killed fucking a lot of shit with that gun. Right. A lot of shit with that gun. I've killed some of my
people,
a lot of firsts. Not that I know about.
No.
Nothing that I've been told about.
Okay,
but,
so you're in the clear.
Yeah. No, I've shot a lot of my first ducks. I've shot my first banded duck with it. Tons of turkeys, whitetails, you name it. But I just love having that gun. I mean, it's just fun.
For some
I've
reason,
taken it everywhere I've ever gone, anywhere in this country. I've taken it with me. So
anywhere
not that I've been very far.
I'm about to say,
it sounded good.
New York?
Sounded good. Yeah, exactly.
It did sound good though.
Snow goose hunting.
Yeah.
Turkey hunting wherever I go.
For some reason, you reminded me of trapping, and I've been bugging the shit out of you to help me learn trapping a little bit better, because that's probably the one thing that I haven't done consistently, I want to say.
Yep.
and you
It's
were
not time yet.
No, I understand,
Yeah.
but I've been like instilling it into your head because you were like heavy into that at one point, no?
Yeah, no, I was huge into the whole trap and seeing like I had a really close buddy of mine that I used to run a trap line with. We ran probably over 400 traps a year, and it was like a full-time job.
That's a job.
Yeah,
That's work.
it was fun, man. Like I get picked up at like 3:00 in the morning. He would pick me up. We check our trap line. It was a blast. I mean, setting traps. I mean, I remember the season starts at midnight. So what you do is you go out at fucking midnight and you start setting traps, and you just set traps. And I mean, say you're muskrat trapping or coon trap, whatever you're doing, and you just fucking trap after trap, and we have a canoe and just drag it behind us and just set a trap, and then you just have to check them every single day within 24 hours. So then it was a
To be
full-time job.
ethical, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's a law, so you have to check them every 24 hours. But I mean, just skinning them.
You follow
and just,
the law
it's
nowadays?
Full,
Since when? Since we started the podcast, right?
We're trying. We're being legit.
No.
Did you ever trap before?
No, but my uncles did. So I got the aftermath of seeing them skinning and how they cleaned their traps and they boiled their traps.
And they let them rust, right?
Well, yeah.
No, well,
You want-
no,
you wanna
you
leave
don't.
them outside
You
and
don't
whatnot?
want rust. What you want.
When you first get them, you do.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
And then
Yep.
you want to boil them, and then you oil them with fat, like bear fat. They used to take different types of pig fat too.
What about D-Rock fat?
I'm sure all fat works.
Oh, okay.
Your fat look good, so
All right,
you know.
word.
It's called dying.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. So I used to watch them do that, and never. I went on one trap line, muskrats in like North Harwington, Connecticut, for like my uncle.
That's right around the corner from my house.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's next to Thomaston and shit, right?
Yeah, like Johnny
Yeah,
Cake
yeah.
Airport, that little
Yep.
town up there.
Yeah.
My uncle lives right up there.
Out towards Wasp.
Yep.
We all shoot Zeus, but Wasp is local in Connecticut.
Used to shoot wasp. They're
Used
in
to.
Prospect, Connecticut.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man.
They're our homies.
I
Wicked
think
awesome.
that's something, a little venture that we owe it to conservation, that we should do some trapping this year.
Yeah, I think, and honestly, I mean, with the problems that we've been having with a lot of the predators, I mean, the lack of predator control here, obviously in our state, is just, it definitely, I think that it gets looked over. Actually,
I know. Don't you wish they fucking opened up yote hunting at night?
see, I think
just
that would. I mean, a lot of states do it. I mean, that would definitely set apart, and definitely make a better season for us as far as predator control goes. But I mean, like the trappers, the problem too. I mean, one of the negatives of it is that we can't hunt at night. But the trapping, even you have to have land trapping permit, and a land trapping permit you have to have 10 consecutive acres to land trap on. Okay. So
Just like the gun rule.
yeah, so it makes it a lot harder to trap, and a lot of people don't like trapping because those bad mistakes that happen. I mean, when I was a kid and we were land trapping, dude, I caught fucking people's dogs. I mean,
Yeah,
because
sometimes,
it's such
yeah.
a short,
Right.
small area, especially where we live.
But at the same time, though, I think in retrospect, it's the dog owner's responsibility to be educated enough that there is trapping around that area. You know what I mean? It's a catch-22. It goes both ways.
And honestly, going back on that, I mean, honestly, these people hired me to come and land trap, and I told them where all the traps are. I showed them where all the traps are, and then an hour later, I get a phone call saying that I caught their dog, and I'm like, what do you mean I caught the dog? I told you where the traps are. It's not
Right.
like I put them in your front fucking yard, like they're down by the creek, and like
Maybe
in the
keep
middle
your dog
the
out of the
woods.
backyard for a couple days
Something
while
like
you're
that.
clearing it
And a
out.
lot of
or
times
just-
that's what I would tell them. I say, listen, give me 3 days.
Right.
Let me trap for 3 days,
Right.
and I'll get them out of there, and then you won't have to worry about the trap. Like, if I can't catch them in 3 days, then I'll move on. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Call Turtle
And I'm
Man.
doing it for you, So
That's awesome.
definitely
That's awesome.
different.
It's funny because a lot of my non-hunter friends, they almost all of them have farms. It's surprising how many farms there are here in Connecticut, and not even just that. Like people, they have their own chickens, and not even farms, but own chickens, own pigs, what have you, in their residence, and then they start having predator problems. So they come to me, and I'm like, I don't know shit about trapping, but at the same time, I know animals well enough that as a landowner, especially with nuisance, and most of my non-hunter friends, they want like the have a heart traps and stuff, which is perfectly fine too. If that's what you're using it for. I always encourage them to call me as soon as they trap something. For some reason, they never do. But I think they might have an idea what I would want to do.
I'll take this. Don't worry about it. I'll take it.
Exactly.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. But where I'm getting at, it's like once they trap them, they're having fun too, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. Like the experience of luring them in. And it's easy. Like with fox, it's real easy. I just use deer meat, coon, the same thing, but they love peanut butter, chunky peanut butter, as well as squirrels, They've caught like up to 3 squirrels in one trap.
One of the things that I learned, especially trapping, a lot of trapping is actually more visual than it is scent.
Right.
So like if you're gonna try and catch like raccoons,
like furs and shit, right?
Well, that's when you start catching cats.
Oh, dude. So let me interrupt for a second with coons. Know what I've noticed, and I have it on trail cam actually because I was experimenting. Because one of my friends was having a coon problem for his chicken pen. This coon ripped the chicken through the fence, the chicken wire fence, and then ripped its head off. It was the most gnarly thing
You sure it was a raccoon?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times the hawks will do that.
I think I could distinguish a hawk and a coon.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying that's what a hawk is, more or less what a hawk would do than a coon.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason, that coon, I need to show you that, man.
Yeah.
That clip is pretty gnarly, man.
So, like I was saying, with the visual thing, like what we used to do is we take mini marshmallows and you run them out of the trap, and the white visibility of that, they'll actually go to it. They just
for coons, you're saying?
Yeah, because coons are a very curious animal, and they're kind of like a bear. Like they have to they're like little kids, man. They got to play with something. If they see something shiny or they see something out of place, like they got to touch it, they got to go near it. So that's a very good way of catching coons. A lot of times with like when you're bobcat trapping. Especially, we just did a study here in Connecticut for the bobcat.
It's actually on. They extended it. It's ongoing now.
Really? Still?
Yep.
I don't know. I kind of got out of it. It's just too much. But we used to take CDs, old CDs, and you hang them in the tree, and just that flash. Or we used to do.
They're a cat.
Yeah, or wings of birds.
Yeah.
You would hang them. They got to play with them.
Sense.
They got to see them. It's just trapping is more of a visual thing too. Sometimes.
Well, I'm just saying. Sometimes,
dude, they're so mean, bro. I've trapped so many of them.
You know what? It's funny as outdoors people. Sometimes we overlook the. Excuse me, Shabin burp. All right, Tito's. Yeah. But I had a Shabin earlier. Yeah.
He's double
but sometimes we overlook the obvious, like. If you're going to trap a cat, think like a house cat.
Yeah.
What attracts your house cat? Right. I mean, shit. I wonder if it's legal if you could just sit there with a fucking laser pointer. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just talking out my ass. But that's exactly what I mean.
You want to talk about real skill and real woodsmanship is trying to trap something. I mean, not only trying to put something into your vicinity, like bow hunting.
How big of a diameter you need to make your animal step into?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so you think that you're badass and you're hardcore by putting a deer within 20, 30 yards of you. Try and put a fucking coyote in 1 inch space and make him step in one space. And then we used to do crazy shit. I mean, we would so coyotes don't like getting their feet wet. Foxes do not like to get their feet wet. But when we couldn't land trap, we make something called a spring hole set. And what you do is, you actually, you would get it near a creek or whatever, and you would put the scent so that he would have to stick his nose out, but he would have to put his paw out, and you would take the trap, and you would set it very thin in, maybe 1 or 2 inches of water, and you would put a piece of moss on the pan of the trap so that when he would go stick his nose out, he would put his foot up onto what he thought was a mossy rock. And so he would stick his nose out, and the foot would go into the pan, which he would think was a mossy rock. Got him.
And thinking it's a rock, he would overstep.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Because they're afraid of putting their feet in water. But you have to remember is in Connecticut, you have to land trap, so the law is that's the only way you can dirt hole set. And when you're land trapping, it can be in dirt. When you're regular trapping, it has to be in water. All jaws have to be covered in water, whether it's a conibear, whether it's a foothold, whatever it is, a colony trap, so on and so forth, has to be underwater, fully submerged. And so that's how you get to catch your coyotes, your and all of your land animals.
And that's the only way you can have a non-padded trap, right? Is underwater.
Correct. Yep, it's underwater.
Over 1 inch, I believe.
Correct.
Right?
Yep. Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
So it's kind of one of those things, man. You're trying to not only trick this fucking animal to put it in 1 inch, but you're trying to put it somewhere that it doesn't like to fucking put its foot.
I really think we're going to get into it, man, because
That's
the way
fun.
you're talking about it, man, it's getting you riled up.
Yeah, it's been
looks
some
like
time,
you love
man.
trapping.
It's fun, dude. It's just like I said, man.
Dude,
it's just a full
our chubby asses
job,
need to
man.
lose weight. Let's do it,
Yeah,
man.
I get you.
Let's do it. You know,
Just
he's like opposite of us.
don't worry about me. I've been drinking a lot
He's
of
a
double
sexy
IPAs.
wild game chef.
I'm ready. I'm ready. So between that and shed hunting, I mean, come on, let's do it.
So, anyways, should we just go into the fucking intro?
I guess so.
So let's just go. Let's get this party started.
All right, run it.
Why East Coast Bowhunting Podcast?
Because neither one of us wear pink camo.
East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Look, man, I'm from Wisconsin, and I listen to the East Coast Bowhunters because you don't get anything more real than these guys.
Because East Coast Bowhunting sets the standards for keeping its listeners informed on everything that matters in the hunting industry.
Nice having somebody, local and represent the East Coast for us.
The East Coast is going to saddle up.
Number one source for slaying whitetails on the East Coast.
Well, you might see Jesus if you actually shoot something, it'll get you into heaven.
Why East Coast? Why not? I'm East Coast, baby. That's how we roll. Chew on that.
Come on the show a stranger, and you feel like one of the boys when you leave.
Because I get my hunting camp anytime I want.
There's some absolute monsters roaming the East Coast, and I think it needs a little attention, so why not bring it to the East Coast Bowhunters Podcast?
Man, because East Coast is a tight-knit crew, and y'all like me. Raw, real, no bullshit.
Because you guys are hometown boys. I love you guys.
This is Kurt Geyer with Working Class Bowhunter, and East Coast Bowhunting Podcast is the only hunting podcast I'll tune into.
All right, so this is the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. Welcome back. This is Slayer Studio. I'm your boy D-Rock here with
East Coast Trev.
And
Ghost hunter.
the Ghost Hunter. The Ghost
Hunter.
Yo, welcome to the studio. I'm really looking forward to this episode because we have a lot to talk about. I mean, shit, the three of us have had a killer season up to date. We're missing Ryan the porn star. He's busy doing, his porn star thing. So he's filming and he can't be here right now. So shout out to him for getting it while we sit here and drink Shabin and talk to a lot of sausage.
Dirty sausage.
Well, mine's not that dirty.
We talk about dead shit.
I mean, I swim
Dead
a river
sausage.
to get across the border, so it cleans it up.
We talk about dead shit that we turn into sausage.
Dude, 65 pounds I made today. 65 pounds of sausage.
You made
What kind
65
What kind of
pounds.
sausage?
I did sweet and hot, so it was nice. I had a bunch of organic pork fat kicking around because that's just what I do. And I had a lot of neck meat, a lot of shank meat. I had a lot of already.
I love shanks.
Well, I had a lot of ossobucos done.
That kind of shank.
Yeah.
I was thinking like stab.
You got to protect yourself. I forgot you're Mexican.
It could be easy what you say. It gets all excited. Shit.
Orale.
No, man, but
Watch your toothbrush.
I had enough grind. I had enough stew meat, so I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna make some sausage, and it yielded 65 pounds.
Shit.
Yeah.
Last time I yielded 65 pounds, I was 18.
Damn, you guys are all about the sausage, I guess.
No, not of sausage.
All right, so let's get back on track.
Let's
Promo
go.
codes.
Let's go.
Let's run it. Trev, first promo code because you're the only one that remembers.
Let's start with Tree Thrasher.
Imitate the wild.
Did I do good?
Yeah, it was
Damn.
perfect.
All right.
That was. What's the promo code?
East
for that?
Coast 15.
Damn, you're on point. So, what's the
I got
outright,
1 for 1.
Yeah, you're good, man. You're doing really good.
Outright Hunting Morph Pro
Yeah,
is 25% off
Is
Black Friday.
Is it 20? What's the promo code though? I think it's Black Friday 25.
Ooh, I didn't even see it. I just saw it was 25% off.
Dude, now's the time. If you need, go ahead, Ghost Hunter. What were you saying?
No, keep going.
All right, if you need the best and last bow hunter you'll ever buy,
Hanger.
I'm just Bow hanger?
Yeah, you said bow hunter.
Oh, bow hunter?
That's
well,
okay.
I'm saying if there's a bow hunter in your area, I'm saying he'll probably hold his weight too. So fuck it. For both bow hunters and bow hangers, get the Morph Pro.
Even hanging your spare camera on it, dude. I've done some
muzzleloader season,
some crazy shit on this. So if you
have you fucked in it?
So
or no?
So if you have with the Morph
Really?
Pro, if you have a just a screw and peg, then you can take and put the camera on it, and then you use that there, and then still use your bow hanger. And I mean that you could have that thing set up in like fucking 6 different places.
It's like the superhero of fucking bow holders.
Oh
dude.
my
like,
god!
You see this shit? Like you got like
it's
4.
not even like bow hunters. It's like accessories.
Yes,
you accessorize your tree.
Your bling. Your
so
bling
many
for your
activities.
tree.
Yeah, I wish we were filming this right now because the arms flying around and you
It's
guys
getting real
so-
Italian over here.
It is. It is. And Trump, you're not
sausage.
even Italian. Oh my god. So I guess that being said, buy your bow hanger. What's the next promo code? Death Wish Coffee.
Fueled by death.
Crack in a cup.
East Coast 10.
Go.
10.
Yo, actually, we're having a giveaway soon.
That's it. We have the on-the-go Death Wish coffee.
Best coffee in the fucking world.
Actually, I might know. Maybe in our break, I might go brew me a cup of that shit.
I know you're not even drinking tonight.
I know, man. I've been
What are you
grinding
hunting
hard.
tomorrow?
Yep.
Really?
Hunting hard. Harder. All right.
I don't know what to say with that.
Peter Griffin, son.
I'm just saying, man. I live in the hood, and I felt awkward talking that way.
So the next one,
promo code for Ethics Archery.
If you don't shoot ethics,
then
fuck
you.
That's perfect. What's the promo code for that?
East Coast 10. 10.
Like
10.
See, you guys are getting it. You guys are on point.
And
this is like one Shabin, now Moscow Mule. You got what Shabin you got there? Is that John Beer?
All day.
Damn, those are like
day.
few and far between right now.
And then that puffin' pass.
Ooh, pass that shit over here.
Because you know.
Oh no, this isn't it.
You got it.
Here, let me sip that shit.
Dad,
Trev, what's the next promo code?
Gator Outdoors. ECB 10. 10.
Are you losing your voice? Or are you going through puberty?
10.
Why are you avoiding the question? You're very professional tonight, man. I do have to say.
Strictly fucking business. Strictly fucking business. He's been slaying deer, dude. He's like all about it. He's all business.
You know what? Let's dip right into that. We're brought to you by Elite Archery and partnered with Gator Outdoors. So, I mean, shit. If you need your test result and need a cure, follow us because Elite Archery has both. Word?
Word.
Awesome.
Say word.
Word.
Word up.
Word. All right.
Have you heard the word?
Bird's the word?
Fucking
oh, God.
bird.
Squirted.
Fuck what grinds your gears. What rattles your motherfucking antlers? This is a hunting show, brother. Oh, man. So, the main reason we, in our description on Instagram page, is the hardcore hunting house of the East Coast. It's not because we're the best hunters in the world. By all means, we're not. We're hardcore. We sacrifice a lot. If you consider yourself hardcore, you know what that means. You don't have to listen to hardcore music because guess what? During dinner time, this Mexican ass is listening to some jazz to kind of relax and finally get some peace in my mind while I fill my belly, my chubby ass. But, I mean, if you're a hardcore hunter, you're grinding away. You're hunting, waking up in the wee hour of the morning and hunting before you go into your shift. If you're not fortunate enough to have, what would that be, first shift? I don't even know these American terms. It's just like if you work early in the morning, you're out there in the woods earlier. If you work late at night, guess what? You're out there right after your shift. It's the way it is, man. Right. Hardcore has many meanings. You can listen to fucking Britney Spears.
I don't even think it's like hardcore. I think it's more East Coast.
Ooh.
Beast Coast.
Yep.
Oh, I like that. Hashtag Beast Coast.
We have to.
Shit.
You know, a lot of people do the same thing we do.
You know what?
It's just...
I'm not meaning to cut you off once again, but I think, honestly, I'm going to throw a fucking challenge out there real quick, fast.
Do it.
If you are out there and you're fucking grinding and you're East Coasting, as we would call it, I want a picture of a selfie of you.
Beast coasting. If you're beast coasting, he wants a picture of you.
Beast coasting, man. Selfie that shit and tag and hashtag Beast Coast, and I will fucking check up on every single one of them. I promise you. And I will share them on the East Coast page. Guarantee it. You hashtag Beast Coast, and you will see your face on East Coast
Bowhunting Podcast.
Boom, on the story.
I like that. On Facebook,
That's awesome,
Instagram,
man.
Twitter,
Do it.
Vero, LinkedIn, Tumblr. Should I keep on going?
Swipe right.
Okay.
No, that's a lot of fucking work. So just hashtag
My
Beast
bad.
Coast.
Sorry, Mexican, man.
Beast
That's all we
Coast.
do.
Yep. Just hashtag that Beast Coast. I want to see you guys grinding.
You want your
It's
leaves
getting
blown?
to that time, man.
I got my backpack leaf blower. I got my
Why is
backpack
it
leaf blower.
everywhere I hunt, there's a fucking leaf blower blowing somewhere in Connecticut. There's
Sorry.
they're fucking following me, man.
Sorry, it's the Mexicans got trapped in this side of the wall. Sorry, that's us.
I
Get
love
out
it,
there,
man.
it's all nice. The sun comes up, and you're just like, get the fuck out of here.
You're enjoying life.
Yo, Ghost Hunter.
What's up?
Tell us about your season coming up, man. The from the beginning to up to date. Let's start with you.
It was honestly the coolest experience this season. I learned a lot about my properties, myself as a hunter. I learned a lot about challenging new areas. It was, I'm fortunate enough I stepped away, like we said, from the restaurant industry, have a lot more time to be in the woods. So it started for me when I pretty much quit my job in turkey season in April. Scouting, running cameras, doing new systems, doing state land, figured out my own properties, but then went back to the drawing board again and just saw more deer than I ever had in the last 10 years. Had more opportunities this year than I ever had, but I've been out there.
What do you think the main factor for that is, though?
I honestly, this year, did 3 things. I dead only hunt the wind when it's right. Everyone talks about it. You always do it. You do scent control, and then you really want to hunt a spot, and you're like, the wind's kind of okay. You're going to sneak in there, and you're going to you're on the border, and you're just fucking those areas up. And I've been doing that too long, and I've been knowing it for too long, and just, it's the rut. They're running around. You don't care. It's wrong. So
even during the rut, you would still hunt the wind more?
I believe in it more than anything in the world this year, because those bucks are cruising. They're smelling. They're chasing. They're looking for does. If they're not on a hot doe, they're looking for a hot doe.
Right.
Wind in their face. So there's no, like, my father and I got into a fight the other day, not to get off topic, but he's like, I really want to hunt this farm. And I'm like, well, you need a south wind. It's dead north. Let's not fuck it up. I don't want to sit 5 hours with my thumb up my ass for no reason. Let's not waste time.
Where is Ryan again?
What?
Ryan the porn star. Did I just catch you dazing off?
Sleeping.
Fuck.
No, I wasn't dazing off. I was thinking about
Yo,
if I could.
This brother would just sleep with his eyes open. I think.
No. I was
He's
thinking
in a
about
trance.
moving the studio fucking light onto the Hoosier, just so it would be more like over there. I'm sorry,
honestly,
dude.
where that turkey mount is.
Oh man. They're not gonna make a fucking bracket. Sorry, but I didn't mean to get off the
ADHD.
He's in a
This is
trance.
what happens. You know what? Pass me that shit. Where's that shit? Let's get organic.
He's in a trance.
Jesus
I'm just saying.
I'm
Here we
like
go.
trying to like.
No, but back to the whole wind thing. So I started doing that, and then factoring in my approaches more. My access in and out of my stands, I reevaluated everything, and I've noticed that the deer that I'm hunting are more visual with their bedding. They're bedding high and they're bedding open, and they've been watching me in 2 spots go into areas for like years. And I figured it out this year. I glassed them, I watched them, took the time, and I'm like, those motherfuckers. No reason why they come down every night at 8 o'clock. They're watching me every single time go in. So I took another approach this year, hunted it 4 times, saw deer every time, shot 2 nice deer. Like, what else can you ask for more?
So you're pimping your does.
I'm pimping my does.
It's about bros and does.
And I actually watched my first doe get bred this year.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You nasty little fuck.
And that's when you took your deer this year, right?
That's when I took my guy.
So dip into the beginning of that.
So Ghost Hunter, can you just pop up your mic just a little bit before you get going on this story?
How's that?
Perfect. Thank you.
Yo, you guys got me coughing. I'm laughing so much. I'm trying to resist not laughing, but it's not working out.
Is it bad?
It's bad.
I'm excited to hear this.
All right, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Do it.
No, so it's tough going to work with people that don't hunt, okay? Because all day I want to get into the stand and the wind and the pressure is just perfect, and it's Thursday and I'm pushing everyone. I'm like, we got to go. And we get out, we finally make it. I get into my stand. As soon as I got up there, I start seeing deer. It's like they're fucking coming out of the ground. Saw a little buck come up chasing a doe. It's like 2:30. I'm like, this is cool, you know?
What's little to you, though? What's a little buck to you?
He was a little forkhorn.
Oh, okay.
You know,
cool.
you know.
Because a little buck to me is a button buck.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
So
That's
and that's true. It's all different categories. So he was probably a year and a half, maybe a 2-year-old deer, if that. But he was trying to do big things. Watched those 2 deer go off, and then I watched another 6-point, which was a decent deer, nice body, walk into some thick cover, and my deer busted out and chased him off. And that's when I looked up and I'm like, that's a deer I want to shoot. That's a older, he was just a 7-point, but still he was a big old 7-point for those areas. And he was King Ding. He was running around in there. So
dude, his body looked big.
He dressed out at like 185.
Wow.
And that's a big Connecticut deer for only being 3.5. And I don't have the exact age on him yet, but that was my guess. I got the jaws still. We got to check him out.
Oh yeah, we have it in the beetle shed, right?
Yeah, he's out there. We got to check him out. But so he chased off this little buck, and then I realized he got a girlfriend. And I pick up my glasses, and there's this little doe, and he comes up and rears on her and just hammers down. And
the little rugrats fucking have it.
They're doing it, and she just gave it up like a little slut too. Like I'm like, I'm like, and she wants it just as bad. It's all good.
Hoes and does.
And I'm loving it, man. And I got my glasses up, and I'm looking out at the corner of my eye, and there's another deer coming up the ridge, and I'm like, I'm in it. Like this is what you waited all year. Now it's a matter, is she going to come by? Is he going to make a mistake? What's going to happen? So this is going on for about a half hour now.
Dude, what perfect time to just really take a second there. And if you don't have the modern assassin reach right now,
right,
I strongly recommend, from personal experience, get the extended strap that comes separately with the modern assassin reach. Is because I know Ghost Hunter right here, he's talking about an epic moment, and I know you wish you had it on film. Because you used to film, right?
I used to film a lot.
So with the modern assassin reach made by Out on the Limb and collaborated with many different ideas, they came up with the prototypical 3-pound camera arm where you could just mount your shit and capture that moment. So back to that moment.
Yeah, I mean, but back to the reach, I need it. Because after this hunt was over and I came back to Earth, I needed it. I was like, I'm never going to see it again. I could have. I wish I had that on film because it worked out. So, long story short, 4 different bucks approached this buck and doe throughout my hunt and watched him run him off completely out of sight. And
the little forkhorn?
No, there was a fork. There was a 6. There was another 8, but he was a lot smaller. I mean, I was in it. Like they were. I mean, these aren't huge deer, but they were trying to do big things, and he was definitely the king. My boy was just not having it. He was fighting, running off. I'm waiting, and the 5th time, this fucker runs off another little deer, and these are all the same deer. They're all circling around. These bucks are hanging out, and.
Dude, it's like being in the hood, right?
It was gangster, man. It was like straight up a gangster rape, I guess. I don't know, because she wanted it, so it wasn't. It was great. So long story short, man.
Isn't that what they always tell the cops? She wanted it.
She wanted it. So this buck runs off. Now it's getting towards dusk, and I'm like, this needs to break. We need to make something happen here. And she breaks towards me. And he's gone. Like, he's already run out. He's chasing another buck, and she's coming right to me. And I'm like, it's on. There's no way he's fucking leaving her. Sure as shit, I got my glasses up. I see him grunting, running up the hill. Now he's 25 yards. Quartering to me. I'm like, I got that shot. But the doe's underneath my tree and the wind's perfect and she's walking by and I'm like, get closer.
Yeah.
And he's grunting and he makes a scrape and he's at like 20.
He made a scrape too?
He made a scrape right
No
in front
shit.
of me, dude. He's scraping and he wasn't grunting loud. He was doing those tending grunts, but nonstop.
Did he, not to get too graphic, but did he piss in it too?
He didn't piss in that scrape. He wasn't making a huge scrape. He was just kind of doing
Showing dominance.
Huge thrashes. You know,
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah. He was pissed, and his girl was getting a little too far. And then 8 yards, I'm at full draw and blacked out. Yeah.
Damn, son.
I just watched him do the mule kick, and then 30 yards, he just tumbled over, and it was done in 2-3 seconds.
Shit, man.
And then she stood there and was for 10 minutes until it got dark. She just stood there and watched, and I watched him run off, and I watched the 6-pointer take the fucking doe.
Like with the Rugrats, man. He's down.
Oh, Hefe, he done.
Se cayó. He's like, he's down for the count. Now's my chance, señorita.
So just on a whole, to see all that, it was the coolest experience this season and probably I've ever had in Connecticut. That's
dope, man. That's a really cool story, man.
Thanks, man. And
it
was tough not to share it with many people. You know, I'm the ghost hunter. I couldn't even have him take a picture.
You know what? It's cool that you get to come on the show and release because this is who you are and what we're leaning at. And Trev is walking back in the studio with some kind of weird
cracking a cup.
Cracking a cup.
Is that?
Yeah.
Cracking a cup.
Drinking Death Wish at 8 o'clock at night.
Oh, dang. You ain't sleep. I thought you said you were going to hunt in the morning.
I need that energy, bro.
Energy for what?
I don't know.
You're
probably
going to be up
just,
all night.
I'm going to go jog around the woods, find the deer.
He's going to corral him. He's going to circle him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got into a very detailed, up-to-date season recap with Ghost Hunters. So let's hear yours, Trev.
I went hunting, and I shot a deer.
Oh, thanks. So let's get to D-Rock now. So,
Boom.
No. Seriously, start from the beginning because building up to your highlight of a season right now, I mean, this is a huge year for you.
Yeah.
But let's start from the very beginning, even the shoot, because you had like a little bit of spurt of kind of, I'm going to make it sound kind of gay, but a little glimmer, a little shine at the WCB shoot 2019.
Yeah.
And then, following a really good turkey season, and you even said...
amazing turkey season.
And you even said this is your year. So start from summertime leading into deer season.
So, I mean, a lot of it, just kind of like that whole drive, that ambition that, it needs to be done. Like, I'm... just taking that next step in my hunting career, I think as myself, just kind of putting myself up there and just pushing myself forward and just kind of holding myself to a very high standard. It's been just one of those things. I mean, it started off in turkey season with just like setting those goals and just making those goals, whatever it is and whatever it takes to do those things. And I feel that, I was challenged, and when I'm challenged, man, I gotta fucking just live through it and just do it, and that's what it was. I mean, D-Rock challenged me. He's like, you can kill a lot of birds, and you know how to kill birds. Why don't you do it with your bow? And I'm like, fuck that shit, dude. That's not easy. I can't do that. And so challenge was accepted, man, and I put the gun away for a whole entire season, and I did it with a bow, and I fulfilled my 3 private land tags with the bow for killing turkeys. I killed 2 absolute stunner toms, and I killed 1 Jake, which D-Rock made a very fucking funny video.
Yes.
Thank you, you fucking asshole. I really appreciate it. He did ask my permission first. I thought it was great. I let him do so. Steve Ranella, if you guys haven't seen this, is you got to go on to our Facebook page or our Instagram page, and D-Rock puts it out there because Steve Ranella decided it was a good idea to put up a fucking video that nobody cries over turkeys, and our boy D-Rock decided to take it upon himself and made a fucking video. So, with my permission, as I said. But anyways, so moving on throughout the season after I've already smacked 3 turkeys with the bow and fulfilling that goal that I set for myself and challenged, was accepted from my local peers. We moved on to the shoot. And so we arrived down in Illinois at Clark Cummings' place. It was actually a really big deal, man. It was...
Yo, only East Coasters say Illinois.
What do they normally say? Illinois.
Yeah, the correct pronunciation is Illinois.
There's no Y.
But we're East Coast, so it's Illinois.
All right.
We make the noise to them. Illinois.
We're all Yankees to them anyways.
So there was like crazy camaraderie, all the boys hanging out, chilling. Everybody, I mean, it was just a great fucking time, dude. No matter what, man, whether what happened or not, I think it was just one of those things that kind of like shed a light on myself. Like, bro, we're here. This is it, man. This is the thing, dude. Like, these are our friends. This is our family. Like, this is what my life consists of, man. And it was just a big eye opener for me, man. And it was just like, this is my time to shine. This is to show what my whole entire life, what I practice for to make and succeed. Shooting, man. It's like, that's my thing, is shooting. It's not killing, dude. Shooting is my thing. Like, I love it. It's my passion. It's what I truly believe in. It's something that I spend a lot of time doing. Whether it's 3D shoots, trick shoots, competitions, so on and so forth. That is my thing. I'm not the best at it, but it's what I enjoy.
Would you say that you're a better shooter than you are hunter?
I think, honestly,
so,
at this point, in this point, I totally agree with you. Yeah, shooting is definitely my forte.
But doesn't that make you on the path to be a great hunter, though?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that, like, yeah, I just spend a lot of time doing it. It's not that I do it on any type of competition level. It's not that I shoot indoor 3. It's not that I shoot, 500. It's not like that. It's I practice my shooting to my hunting. So like doing 3Ds every weekend, shooting in the backyard, shooting like now this is my time that I shoot in the backyard constantly. Like I'll grab my bow, I'll shoot 10 shots, I'll put down my bow, go back, shoot 10 shots. Like I'll shoot 100, 150 shots.
What are you doing in between though?
Like I'm just working.
Probably skinning heads.
Hanging out.
You work?
Yeah.
Oh,
This is actually my busiest time of the year, believe it or not, when I'm not working. But no, it's so anyway, so we're in Illinois, whatever. Everyone's shooting.
East Coast, Illinois.
And D-Rock says to me, he goes, Trev, you're the shooter. And I'm like, what do you mean, bro? He's like, you got this, dude. And
you remember me saying that, right?
Yeah, he said you there's
I've been around a lot of motherfucking shooters in my lifetime, man.
He's like, you got this, dude. This is you, man. So fast forward to the first day after everything, and these guys set up these doors, and I start talking shit to fucking the drifter, dude, and I'm like, yo, I bet you $20. And everyone's like, come on, you're really going to bet him right now? I said, fuck that. I bet him $20 he can't hit fucking doors from here.
But let's be real, what'd he do? And I had no clue this was going on. Ghost Hunter.
Yeah, I'm talking shit.
I'm like about to get fucking popcorn. What's
No,
going on? Like,
so
tell
I'm
me.
talking
Wait. Before we get into that, Trev, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is so everyone's very clear, like all our listeners especially, is like the relationship we have with, the drifter and WCB and where to hunt. And, it's just like we're boys. There's a camaraderie. Like, we talk shit because that's deer camp. So this is what we do. So it's like, it's all nothing but love. So that's one thing I want to be clear.
All respect.
Please,
I would never disrespect any of these dudes.
Correct.
I think of them as brothers. Like, they are family to me. I talk to these people on the regular. This is not... I didn't show up there like a boss trying to fucking start a problem.
He's not a boss. He just showed up ready to shoot.
It's not what it was. So
like a boss.
So we're all sitting there.
What did Connor do though?
Connor he thought he was the king
drifter.
shit.
The drifter. He just no, he didn't think it. He knew it.
Well,
like,
of
he
course.
Came in like,
that's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant. He's just
here.
We all boys. You know what I'm saying? It is. So I said to him, I bet you $20 that you can't hit doors from here. I said, no rangefinder neither. So smart ass he is, goes around fucking asking everybody what the range is.
Nah. He saw me with my scope, or already my range.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, and he came right to me.
Okay.
Man.
So
you don't remember that because you even asked me.
Yeah, I don't. Whatever. It was stupid. But anyways, so he ends up. He fucking dude. This boy steps up to the plate. Fucking draws back.
Nailed it.
Whack. I'm like,
nailed it,
motherfucker. I'm like, here's my money, son. So
you stayed up to it. Yeah.
So I was like, whatever, dude. I don't care. He's like, you really gonna bet him $20? I'm like, yeah, whatever, man.
It's
all
$20.
It's all in good fun, man.
Right.
Like, it's great. It's
Deer
awesome.
camp. We're talking shit. We're testing each other.
So now, mind
pushing
you,
each other. You know,
yeah, exactly.
But now, mind you, I didn't have my bow with me. I didn't have my bow with me. I left my bow at Gene Miller's house.
I remember
because I didn't think that we were going to be shooting, so I left my bow there. Thank the Lord.
That was day of setup, right?
That was the night of setup. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank the Lord that I forgot it there because I probably made a fucking fool of myself. So I leave it there. So then the next day I decide that we're gonna fucking the first thing, everybody's there, dude. Like fucking everybody's there. There's like 200
over 100
people.
heads.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. There's people everywhere. So Kurt goes, all right, we're going to give out the Lone Wolf fucking undercover cam. And I'm like, word? I'm like, I'm going to shoot an arrow. He's like, so we all get lined up. He's like, all right, you got to shoot the 14 ring across the pond. I'm like, oh, shit.
40-yard shot. And I need to interrupt.
43.
Well, actually, my rangefinder is 42. Remember I told you?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Someone said 42, 43, whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying. Your right-hand man told you the yardage. I may be Mexican, but my yardage is always on point. What I'm getting at, though, is even leading up to that, right? Like, everyone's gathering. I'm like, you know what? Trev's the shooter of the team, right. You know? It's just me, him, and Garrett. I want to say Garrett is probably the most experienced hunter. I mean, fucking, he's as old as me, and he's been doing it a long time.
And his bow is set up hunting-wise, not target-wise, by any means.
And then myself at that time, you know, Trev's got a one-up because he got to go out for turkey season more than I had to. Right. So it's like I'm there to prove myself too.
Right.
To make sure.
Well, at that point,
we're very competitive. Though.
You were just sighting in your bow that morning.
The brand new bow.
Yeah.
Right. So like we had some, because we're always competitive. So we really push each other very, very well. And that's why like Ghost Hunter.
Yeah.
He really pushes us because he's a little bit older, more experienced hunter than us. But guess what? Like, we really push ourselves to the point that at the end of the day, we're all equals in the sense of the same hardcore hunting house that we are.
But that's just that team that it's, you know, that's what it is. That's like, you know, like the quarterback pushing the running backs, who's pushing the linesman, that's just a normal team.
I look at it more like I'm the linebacker pushing the defense. Like, I got my safety to my left, the defensive lineman on my right. You know, like the linebacker's the quarterback of the defense.
We're just
like,
a fucking bunch of hardcore guys pushing each other.
I'm just saying. All right, we're going out to kill. So that being said, not to get too steered away. Shit, man, fucking football season. But Trev, you know, you're there. You're the shooter. I scope shit out. It's like you came to play. So leading up to that camera,
well, D-Rock kind of made me there to play.
Well, I'm just saying though.
I got a lot of money riding on this. Don't fuck up. Let's go.
That's what I felt like.
Here's what I felt. I'm like, all right, Trev's the shooter of our team. I'll let him go before me, so this way the team don't look so bad. You know what I mean? That's how I was thinking. And then he fucking
no, it was definitely crazy. So there's just arrows flying, bing, bing. They're just fucking blowing up everywhere. I'm like, oh, snap. This is going to be crazy. So I step up to plate, right? And I go to shoot, man, just relaxed, set it in, put it there. I go to pull the fucking trigger. And I had, mind you, Trev's bloopers, I forgot my motherfucking release in Connecticut. So I had to buy a new release when I got down there at a pro shop. So
never tuned it.
No, not even close. I think it was kind of like, it was fucked up, though, because it was definitely, it's a shorter throw and this, that, and the other thing.
You didn't tune it.
So, I go hit the release, and I fucking the whole thing turns on me, and it like fucking jolts. So it looked like I flinched.
And everyone's like, "Oh,
yeah, dude." So then
it's like a fucking movie. It's funny.
So then I just get reset right back in. I just calm myself.
In the zone,
I just pull back to the wall.
I filmed this,
and
shit
I just
too.
I just squeezed and smack 14 ring, dude.
And
Fucking
like,
people went fucking ape shit, bro. It was like any sports movie you ever seen in your life, and it's the last second, the dude's at half court and he just throws the ball and he fucking makes it swoosh.
Yo, Jordan Johnson has this on his fucking drone.
Oh my god, yeah. I can't wait to see it. Like, I'm dying to see that footage.
Yo, it's funny as fuck because Trev looked at me with like the meanest look, like I'm the motherfucker, you know. And he looked at me
like I'm fucking scared.
And me, I'm like, fuck God, like cheering like a fucking little.
Oh yeah,
fucking
after I had
cheerleader.
hit it, yeah.
And then you fucking went to give me knuckles and we bang fists, right? It's like, fuck, Jesus Christ, he's fucking excited, and like my shit didn't like fucking crumble or nothing, but I was like, I did not expect that. Like that bounced back to my chest. I mean, I wasn't hurt, but I wasn't expecting. It's like, yo, this. I wish I could just be myself, but this dude, quote unquote dude, he was so in it in the moment, dude. So let's fast forward to deer season.
Deer season was kind of crazy. I mean,
kind of slow at first, right?
Yeah. So I start off kind of slow. Being on the boat until the end of October. So the September season is kind of like my, it's kind of like my slow season in the beginning because I don't get to hunt all that much. I get to hunt and like here, there. I'm working 7 days a week. So if I'm able to get out early or whatever, I'll be able to hunt. So I got up in the saddle for the first time. I got out of work early, got up in the saddle for the first time. And I got in kind of early. Actually, I did this last year also. Not only this year, but I did it last year. I got out of work early, went in there at fucking noon. By 1:30, I have a deer on the ground.
Right.
So it's kind of cool. It's just like my little thing. I get in this little bedding ground. I know where these deer are. I know where they're going to come out. Yeah, they're not the biggest deer, but they're little deer. Not fucking... I just smoke them. I got to start the season off right. I just got to get it open off my back, and that's it. So... fast forward to deer camp, October. Me and Ghost Hunter went in, set up a set, and the wind was just absolutely fucking perfect. I'm like, I gotta get in here. I texted up Ghost Hunter, and I'm like, dude, I said, I'm gonna go into that set. I know we're holding it off for rut, but I'm like, everything looks good. I said, pre-rut. I said, I'm gonna go in there and fuck something up. Sure than shit, dude. It's like 45-mile-an-hour winds. I'm in this giant fucking cherry tree. I'm like, oh, this sucks. I'm going to fucking die. And everything just kind of played out. Next thing you know, here comes this doe. She's perfectly perfect on camera. Fucking, I'm full draw. And I'm not even thinking of shooting this deer. I did not go there in any intentions. And last thing I know, I'm saying, meh, and the fucking arrow's flying. Whack! Smoke this giant nanny doe, dude. Absolutely fucking iced her. So I was really
you just black out, you know. You just go in that routine, and you're at full. Like, don't ever go to full draw and think you're just gonna hold on a deer and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna practice."
No,
there's no practice.
Yeah, next thing you know, fucking thing's dead. But it's just, you know, it's that passion for it, man. It's not, you know, I say it with the right means of it. Like, I didn't. You know, not in a mean way or a vicious way or killing or whatever the case may be, man. Like, I did it in all intentions of just my instinct, my primal instinct that I wanted to take that animal, and that I really, you know, it was just right. Everything just fell together properly. And that fucking adrenaline's going. You're like, I'm going to take this animal. I really, you know, I want this animal. So at that point now, I'm tagged out with my Antlers tags. I have 2 buck tags left with the bow. Gun season has not yet started. It doesn't start until the 20th of November. And I leave for Boehm Bridal. I go up to Boehm Bridal, and I put a deer in front of me the first full day, not the night, because we sat one night, the first night, didn't see anything. Then the next morning, there was a really nice 7-pointer that came out. It was like 10, 15 yards from me. Couldn't get the shot off.
Yo, can I slow you down for a second?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because you're on roll, but tell the experience on approaching Boehm Bridal, because that's something we said before we even got into the woods.
Okay. No, it's just a different place, man. That place is just something else. I mean, we go there and you meet up with Steve, and you just see this place. It's just the switchgrass, and it's just like the mecca of all meccas when it comes to whitetails. You show up, the bone. I mean, we went over it a lot in the other episode, so like you're all excited and everything like that. And I'm there to fucking put something on the ground, man. Like I got out of state tags. Like I'm not looking for a trophy, but something I would shoot at home, I'm gonna shoot it there. Something that excites me.
All I want is a wall hanger.
Yeah. So like I'm going there with the right intentions, man. That Steve and Bob are gonna put me on something giant, and they did, man. The opportunities were there. So the first full day sit there, this really nice 7-pointer, I end up rattling this thing in, and Didn't
you call him in too?
Yeah. Yep. Grunt rattled him in. It was fucking pretty awesome. Actually,
which call did he use?
The nor'easter. Yeah.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. I know. P. Viddy has an influence.
Yeah, I know.
Did you have your hats ready?
Yeah.
Remember? Dip into that, actually.
No,
Let's get back on track. The hats.
So,
this is funny, though. This is something
I get
notice.
you.
I want to hear it.
So, at the beginning, right before we go to leave, we're at Caddy Cowboys, dude, and I got my stack of hats. And I say to D-Rock, I'm like, listen, when I fucking grip and grin, dude, I'm going to pull a P. Viddy. I'm going to fucking, dude, they're going to be cameraing me. I'm just going to be throwing hats. And I ain't putting them on. I'm just going to show you my hats. Just like my sponsors. Just like, yo, just this one. Fucking East Coast.
You were practicing, man. Yo, you were making it rain with all those sponsorship hats. Dude, that shit was funny as fuck, though. Like, a lot of people don't see that behind the scenes. Like, you're a cool-ass motherfucker. In the sense, it's like, I'm usually, I'm motherfucking crazy. You know what I mean?
We're all nuts, man.
No. I'm like the real crazy. Right. But you guys keep me honed into real life. Yeah. And to see Trev, like, his type of crazy is like the fun crazy, like innocent, just trying to have a good time crazy. He's making it rain, but with hats. He's like, I'm doing the P. Viddy. We got Elite, Gator Outdoors, Wild Edge, like all of them going out there. Nor'easter Game Calls. Well, Sun Crusher isn't our sponsor.
No, I know, but I have my Sun Crusher hat.
Yeah, you have the Sun Crusher hat. just to be clear, got to rep. And then working class bow hunter, like you went out with like 15 hats from there. I'm like, damn, son.
Yep.
Like, fuck.
Speaking of working class bow hunter hats, that orange hat you wore on opening day at gun season is gangster.
I saved it. I saved that hat just for that. Like, I didn't wear that hat. I have a couple more hats from working class that I actually didn't wear. Yeah, well, that I didn't wear yet. I haven't shown them off yet. And I already lost. ECB10? I lost 2 of them.
ECB10? Is that our promo code?
Yeah, ECB10, yes. 10. I actually lost two of the fucking hats that I had gotten this year on the water. But so fast forwarding back to the first day of hunting in Boehm Bridal. So I rattle grunted this fucking deer in. Nice 7-pointer, man. 15 yards. He caught me with my dick in my hand, dude. I could not get my bow off the bow hanger.
You've been hanging out with Caddy Cowboy too long.
So, no. So he's actually Caddy Cowboys filming me from behind.
Gross.
Yeah.
I should have said it. So he was in the other stand. He was in another stand.
Yo, poor sorry ain't even here.
No, Jesus.
Sorry.
So it didn't come together, man. That deer, I got footage of that deer. Caddy Cowboy says that I could have got my bow, this, that, and the fucking deer's looking at me. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. The fucking deer was looking at me. So I wasn't able to get the deer in. But I...
Wait. I don't care how long this episode lasts, because right now we need to, like, pause.
Why?
Because, like, you blew right through that experience like it was not a big deal. Trev, whole week, let's be real, the whole week...
All I heard about was how I fucked up, but I didn't even fuck up, dude. They're fucking videotaping me and shit. And I look at the tape, and Caddy Cow was like, the deer was looking at me. I was like, you're fucking 10 yards behind me, directly in the same fucking thing. Like, what are you talking about? The deer's not looking. What the fuck do you mean? Like, it's right there.
I gotta pull the mic away.
Yeah.
Yo, like, mute my ass, because... Yo, just take it play by play, though. Play. No, seriously, because this was huge for you.
Yeah, no, it definitely was.
And just to hear the two stories, like, back at the lodge.
Well, he was just looking. He was just looking for a reason.
And I'm hearing it for the first time, so I'm like getting popcorn and just fucking hanging out.
Let's get some details, because this is hilarious.
No, so we end up, I rattle, dude, and this fucking deer comes out of nowhere, man. We're hunting this corridor, this travel corridor in between two ag fields. It's like kind of like They're big fucking like mountains, more or less, and we're in a swamp corridor that comes through. It's fucking thick, dude. Like this.
Was it the applesauce swamp or no? Not quite yet.
No, we haven't gone there yet.
Okay,
so this is the first night, and so I mean to kind of put it in perspective, it had rained. It's like wet, so like you can't hear fucking nothing, and it's thick as fuck. And like, just to put it in perspective, there was a doe, dude. I was sitting in my stand. This doe was literally 4 yards away from me, and I didn't even fucking hear it coming, and it just come out of nowhere. Boom, it's underneath my fucking stand, and it's just walking around, and had no idea it was there.
Can you let us know what your personal goal and Caddy Cowboy's personal goal was leading up to this point?
Yeah, I was there to shoot a deer with fucking horns, and Caddy Cowboy was there to shoot a trophy doe. I'm like,
a trophy doe.
I am not here to shoot a trophy doe, but come Thursday, it might be something different. But it was really cool, man. The whole entire experience was just, playing with calls. I mean, dude, I grunted in probably fucking all kinds of deer. I bleeded in a fucking doe. I got that on film. I mean, turned her around on a dime. Honestly, shameless plug, that nor'easter game call fucking does work.
I'm going to need that real soon. Footage from you, Caddy Cowboy, and G, so we can come up with a real good nor'easter game call.
Sounds good.
Commercial.
Yeah.
But of course, we'll make sure Boehm Bridal's all for it because, I mean, we're all about conservation. And this is something that I wanted to bring up before we continue with the story because this recap, like I know Ghost Hunter has more to give to the story as well. But the recap does involve Boehm Bridal, which is high fence. It's a preserve, damn near 1,000 acres. And they're all ran by the passionate leader of Steve Impey, which bow hunted all his life, free range. And he just really wanted to bring the quality of life to deer and replicate that free range. That it's just something to be said. Word, Trev?
Right. Yeah.
It was cool to get a part of that because this is something people forget a lot of the time. Is high fence is like, I didn't want to talk about high fence, and this is something that's been in our head for a long time. But how can we talk about something if we didn't experience it?
No, this is true. Very true,
what I mean?
Man. Right. Yeah.
So, like, Garrett and I, reached out to each other after we were presented this opportunity. And it was one of those things, it's the modern assassin. It's one of those things, it's like, how can we even talk about it if we don't do it?
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
And it boils down to that. You're not going to know if you like it or not unless you do it. And this was kind of controversial on my end because I'm a Pope and Young measurer and it's all about fair chase. But how can I have education on it without experience?
Yeah.
You don't know.
No, I totally get it, man.
And all I have to say about it is the experience alone. Like, we all had opportunity and we all did not kill. And it's for a reason. I won't say it was up to us, that reason.
Yep.
It's the higher force. Whatever that is, whether it be God, aliens, or fucking ghosts, whatever the fuck it is. Maybe in
Bigfoot.
Yeah, the Yeti. Maybe Ryan the porn stars. Whatever the fucking porn star believes in. It's just one of those things. It's like it happened for a reason.
Jelly.
The cure.
The result.
Yeah. So can I get on?
Go ahead.
No. So that place, it was just fucking crazy, dude. Like, you couldn't see anything coming, dude, but it was just absolutely loaded with deer. And so I ended up rattling, and this deer just pops up out of nowhere, dude. And it's at like 10 to 15 yards away from me, and I'm standing there with my dick in my fucking hand. And I go to spin around.
Did he have tweezers?
No.
Oh, because it was cold.
Oh my god.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
If you didn't have tweezers, then you're
in trouble. Yeah, I get it.
Or you have an elongated. Oh, never mind.
Yeah. So anyway,
I go
to spin around to grab my bow, but I have a safety harness on, so I spin to the right. And when I spin around to the right, I get my bow in my hand. But now my fucking safety harness rope that's attached to a tree is going over my head. So now I got to figure out how the fuck to turn around, and this deer is standing there looking at me, and I can't get around. I can't get around, and I'm like looking at Matt, and Matt's filming me, and I got this weird look on my face, like I'm waiting for him to tell me what to do, what not to do, because he's supposed to be in my fucking eyes. But no, he's not even saying nothing. He's just like, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Deer.
Just like weird looks in his face. I'm like, dude, fucking tell me what's going on. He's like, I'm like, what? I can't even understand. He's like moving his eyes. I'm like, all right, never mind. This is
High
language. Stupid. And then all I hear is, and I'm like, oh, well, there's the fucking deer. It's gone. So at that point, man, I just put my bow down. I sit down and I'm like, obviously, this is how this week's going to go. I'm now going to be prepped for this. And I understand fully that wasn't my deer, man. And that I wasn't meant to shoot that deer. And I was totally okay with it. Like, I knew I was going there for a reason and a goal. And that wasn't the deer. That wasn't the deer for me. And I kind of like just let it be known, man. And it just in my head, you know, like, all right, that's cool. It wasn't my deer. So we hunted on, had a couple different opportunities, seen a ton of fucking deer. And then the second to last day, so actually I went inside the fence. I was able to hunt inside the fence with Marcus Mohauser. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. As you guys all know, you guys can listen to Boehm Bridal episode 107.
No.
109.
No. Yes.
The Boehm Bridal one. The one that says Boehm Bridal, Steve Impey, that's the one to listen to.
109.
So in there you can hear about my experience of being inside the fence with
Damn,
Marcus.
You don't keep up with that, huh?
What's that? The numbers?
Yeah.
Bro, you're lucky I remember how to tie my shoe. So, anyways.
Yeah, that sucks. Try hunting with them, folks.
So that was an experience of a lifetime. Definitely, it was kind of crazy. I called a 230-inch deer to the fucking base of my tree. Marcus did with the nor'easter. And then we called in another deer. It was over 300. They call half-tail. Absolutely fucking amazing.
So a thing to keep out with, Trev, now that you're on this, and I'll keep this short, interrupting, because it's something I'm really good at, is the ECB Evo Series Grunt Call from Nor'easter Game Calls. They're coming out with an outdoor series, the Beast Coast series.
It already released.
I don't
know if it's on the website, but
no.
Yeah, they released pictures of it.
And the pictures involve super exotic materials used in it. The regular ECB Evo series is $49.99, and this one will be, I think, maybe a $20 shot from there. If I'm wrong, guess what? You get a free lanyard and a free koozie, because just tell them D-Rock, East Coast Trev, and Ghost Hunter said so, that you get that for free, because you're dipping your hard-earned bucks, no pun, shout out Whitetail Experience, on getting your ECB Evo Series Grunt Call, the Beast Coast series. And it's pretty dope because they have the wasp nest, the honeycomb. What else did they have there?
They had some pine cone type one, a flower one. There's a couple, just the outdoor amazing things.
Word. So let's fast forward after New York into your CT hunt.
Hold on. I got to tell about the applesauce.
Okay.
Real quick. I'll go into this real quick. It's just, it'll make the whole story work way better. And I don't tell a lot of stories or long stories, so this will be okay. So
talk about the aromas too, because that's got to be an experience in itself.
So I mean, like
the deer.
So it's this place is insane. So
let's go.
So our boy, Steve, saved one of the stands for the best stand for last. My last stand that I sat on up there was the best. There is an apple orchard that is a abandoned apple orchard, and it still produces apples. This place is fucking loaded with deer. So the first light, deer comes in. I see the deer. I can see it. We're doing a double set. I'm in the guide stand, but I'm facing backwards, back towards the apple orchard, because the wind is blowing in my face. And Caddy Cowboy is facing the opposite direction, and ladder stand watching over the swamp. So I'm watching these deer just walk through the apple orchard, and I see doe, doe, doe. And I say to Caddy Cowboy, I said, there's a fucking buck, and it's a big buck. So the doe comes out, and she's standing at 52 yards in the clearing in the oak flat, and she comes out, and the other doe goes the other way over towards the chicory field, and so I just see this fucking buck, dude. He's got his heads down, and he's going out towards the doe, and he's going to come out. Now he's going to clear, and I'm like, all right, so he's going to come out in this opening. He's going to be 52 yards, and he's fucking, dude, there's like this tree. I'm like, I might, if he thinks about doing something stupid, I'm going to fucking let one rip. So he starts to come out, and the other fucking doe freaks out and runs the other way, like running away from him because he's coming out. And I just see this fucking deer, and it's a giant, like absolute giant, dude. I'm thinking this deer is in the 130 class. Start talking to Steve.
So what's a giant to you? 130's class, but how many points?
It was a big 10-pointer, probably 130. Nice. Now talking to Steve, he's saying it's in between 140 and 150.
Right, because that's I feel that's what I was trying to get at, is because you were saying giant, your eyes are probably, I don't know, because
I was trying to stay on the conservative side.
Right, exactly.
So I'm waiting for this deer to come out. Once again, don't get the opportunity, but I saw this deer. It was amazing to see this deer, but once again, that wasn't my deer. And like I had said to Ghost Hunter, I was like, I don't think that I was ready for that caliber of a whitetail, and I'm okay with that. So
I wasn't, though. Yeah. I had to like coach him out. I'm like, don't you ever tell me that you're not ready for a deer that big. I love you and I know what you're saying, but you're ready. I know you're ready.
So with that feeling in my mind, like I'm just like, you know what? I saw a lot of deer. One deer was just not my deer. It was a little smaller than what I think that I wanted as a goal. And then the next deer was too big. So I'll take it as that. I come home. I spent Saturday with my wife. And then Sunday, the wind wasn't right as we went into the story. Yeah, then we go into the Sunday afternoon. The wind finally changes. Get in my set, preset for my saddle. Got up there, and then it all happened. The deer that I was after for the whole entire year, and a lot of you guys don't know, is that this deer was a deer that I shot at 2 years ago. It was a big 8-pointer, and I missed this deer at 37 yards. He did the same thing that he did to me that Sunday when I actually shot this deer, but he came directly at me and had no shot, walked away, had no shot, waited for him to turn at like 37 or 42, I can't really remember, long shot, and I end up getting deflected, and I end up missing this deer 2 years ago on Thanksgiving.
I remember that phone call.
Yeah, it was fucking miserable.
I think he blames you for some reason. I don't know what reason that would be, but
everyone blames me.
Yeah.
Carl made me go hunting.
All right. Well, I'm sorry.
Tell us a little bit about your version of that.
No.
Actually, no. I want to hear this. Let's just stay organic and.
All I came down to is I gave Trevor some organic supplements in edible form. And he might have melted into his tree.
So he was like that girl melting into the couch. Like she became the couch.
The deer was there. It did.
You were that girl on the couch.
Yeah. So I ended up missing this deer. So I hunted this deer. The season I got him on camera after the fact. Realized what deer it was. Got a good inventory on him. And then the next year, I didn't see this deer. This deer didn't show up on camera. Didn't show up on a mock scrape. Didn't show up. Just never saw this deer. I'm thinking this deer got hit, killed. I have not a fucking clue. Fast forward to this year. This deer shows up on a scrape. One morning, shows up on a scrape. All day long, he's not there. That night, he shows up on a scrape and then fucking disappears out of my life for 3 weeks. And then comes out of the bushes, running after some poo-tang down the fucking river. And, comes walking towards me, walks away, no shot, thinking this deer's out of my life. 5 minutes later, chases that poo-tang right by me, 20 yards, fucking cut the Zeus loose, and that's it, man.
You got a little emotional there too, right?
Yeah, it was definitely an emotional experience. I mean, it was definitely something. I mean, I'm still kind of an emotional wreck when it comes to that, man, because
did you lose it like you did the turkey?
No, it was a totally different type of losing it.
Right.
I just,
So
even
you were
at this
in your
point,
beach breezers versus thongs this time.
I guess so. I was more or less excited. There's 5 dudes around, so I couldn't really lose it. But no, just kidding. But still, like that emotional roller coaster, man. And like I sat there and pondered about it actually this morning, was that like the hunting season is a different type of season now. Like it's turned a total full circle. And like I look at that picture of that deer and I'm like, well, I don't have to worry about him running by my trail camera and not being there. I don't have to worry about that story not coming to an end. Like, it's over. Like, it's fucking weird. Like, I don't even know, like, what deer to chase, what to do. Like, I'm like, I've kind of like taken a break from picking up the bow. I mean, that's kind of like the positive of me being in the woods with a gun at this point, because I'm kind of like, I'm just having fun now. And it was fun before, but it just like, it's over, man. Like, it's just a weird feeling. Like, that deer's going to be on my wall. Like, I don't have a deer on the wall. I don't have a wall hanger. I don't have a mounted deer.
You do now.
Well, I do now, yeah, but I've never had that deer. And I've said it, and I probably said this a million times on a podcast. Even if I shot a 200 incher, I would probably fucking Euro it.
And what happened?
But I'm not. I'm mounting that fucking deer. That deer is going to end up on my wall, and I'm going to look at that deer every single day, and I'm going to remember that thing, because that's been my turning point for me in my hunting, as becoming a different hunter. You guys have probably followed me from day one in this whole thing and kind of understood kind of where I was at, like being a meat hunter and so on and so forth. So like, this season has been an emotional fucking roller coaster, from killing all these turkeys to shooting, to proving myself, to seeing who I am, to just making that full circle and just doing what I'm doing. And I mean, it's just been a godsend, man. And I'm just so happy, and I'm really looking forward to see how we can finish off the season. And I saved a buck tag to my next goal is to shoot a buck in the snow with the bow. I've kind of set that for myself, and that is going to be my goal. The first snow, I want to shoot a big buck in the snow. So that is my next goal of the season.
What is a big buck to you?
I don't really care, man. At this point, dude, I'll shoot a fucking spike horn. I want to kill
a good buck in the snow.
Yeah, I want to kill a good buck. I think 6 points are better. I would say I would like an 8-pointer, because I don't think I haven't shot an 8-pointer yet.
But what if that spike that gets your blood going?
You know what?
Shit, right?
I want to see what a Zeus can do in the fucking snow.
Oh, it's gonna paint it red.
Yeah,
it's gonna be beautiful.
So,
hell yeah!
I think whatever deer makes me happy to fulfill my tags for the season and tag out for the season is what's gonna make me happy. So,
word. That's what it should be.
I'm pumped, dude.
Hell yeah!
We have a lot of good time to hunt. There's still there's going to be a second cycle. The moon's new. We got a new phase coming in. Like, these younger does are going to pop into heat. Like, they're going to look for food soon. Like, we got a lot of time.
Yeah, man, and not even that, but like, there's some scrapes that are starting to reopen again that haven't been, that are showing out of nowhere. There's a lot of things going on.
That rut cycle is going to pick up.
I'm not seeing much chasing at this point.
Nope.
I mean, a little bit. I heard of a little bit. Some customers dropping off mounts and stuff. They're saying in the past, 2 days that things are starting to kick up a little bit more. I don't know, man. I'm just going to get in the woods and find out.
Word.
So what's up with your season, man?
Shit, man. I mean, where do you want to start? Fire away. I mean, shit, I've been listening to your guys' story. You know, I'm just sitting back, fucking kicking some Shabin and poured another Tito's Moscow Mule. I'm just having fun listening.
Let's hear it.
Fire it away.
I don't know. Where'd you start off? How did your season? What did you do?
All right, let's do this. What was your worst experience, and what was your best experience to start off?
All right, word. That's a good question.
I think it is. Yeah.
My worst emotional experience, I have to clarify, is recently getting back from New York and seeing Fabio in stand at 80 yards. I was like, fuck. After this whole long season, I picked the wrong stand and wasn't close enough, because I have multiple presets to, depending on the wind and the situation to be in. But the good thing is that I take away from that is that I saw him in stand. The best, I do have to say, it's tough, man. I really enjoy my season this year.
You've had a very successful season, though, man. You've knocked some animals off the bucket list. You've definitely changed yourself as a hunter, though.
Well, that's what I was getting at. Is I think the best thing that I could take to is, I mean, shit, it's going to be tough to replicate, is hunting Sika deer in Maryland.
Right.
It happened. That has to be the best. I mean, hands down. Shit, it was my first time ever shooting my new muzzleloader out of the Modern Assassin Yarick, made by Wild Edge. Well, made by Arrow Hunter, sponsored by Wild Edge. With my first Sika deer on my birthday. I mean, granted, it wasn't a stag, and I want to kind of rewind from there and come back to that moment. Sort of how like the good movies start, you know? Yeah. Starts with the high point, boom, and gives you the story. So that,
all right, so we'll pause. Everybody go and get something, sit down, and D-Rock's going to go into story time, go, so you know.
Yeah. Go make your bag of popcorn because this is going to be a while.
Yep.
So starting from the beginning, turkey season. I didn't have a lot of time to get out there this turkey season because like you guys out there, we're working class, blue collar. We have to work for a living. At this point, you know, Trev is like the devil to me because he's still out there because his season doesn't start till like late April, beginning of May. And before then, I have Trev ask me, let's go hunt, let's go hunt, let's go hunt. So getting out there, like we had our own story, as you guys know from latter episodes. And because he had such an awesome season, why draw attention to the team with my like last minute kill? Because I did get one down.
Well, you saw something get decapped.
Right. No.
What, your foot?
Yeah, your foot. You know, because that's something to talk about. But I want them to tune in to the past season, and they can hear about that in a different episode. So, you know, I get a turkey down, but it's, to me, I don't want to, you know, like, yeah, it was a good kill. I made a quick post on our story, I think. Nothing more than that. And just getting ready for deer season, because that's my main focus. Like, trust me, I've been hunting turkey for a long time, but it's not something where I'm addicted to like whitetail. And that's, I blame that all, again, to my boy out there in Wolcott, Jay Grenier. He got me into it, like kind of the push to get into the woods for whitetail. And then just being exploited to the podcast that I look up to now, which is, of course, Working Class Bow Hunter, Truth from the Stand Deer Hunter podcast. Like, and The Given, you know, Meat Eater podcast, of course. Shout out Steve Ranella. But anyways, getting into the whitetail season and prepping is like you're shooting your bow as much as you can. And I shoot my bow to the point that some days my shoulder's sore. Granted, because I'm an old man and past surgery, whatever. But I shoot it enough that I feel it. And that's, I feel like whether it be a bad thing or good thing, sore or just that good sore from working out, that's the best advice I could give to any new hunter or even veteran hunter is like, shoot your bow. You know, especially if you're going to be a bow hunter, make sure that arm is sore one time or another. Moving on to the WCB shoot. It's like Trev started out with a bang, and long story short, I ended it with a bang. So the East Coast team came prepared to shoot. And that's the best too, because you know my arm was sore by the end of that shoot. You know, it's like first time shooting the new bow, and you know, at the beginning it was a little rocky, and then once we got to the last 6 targets, I'm 12 ringing everything and ended with a 14 ring. It's like, that's what it takes, is where I'm getting at is like, if you're not willing to push yourself, especially as a newer hunter, how are you going to be successful as a veteran hunter? Unless you're taking that. You have something to say, Ghost Hunter?
Yeah, you're not. You're not going to get to that level. You're not going to, when you get into the woods, you're not even going to be ready to respect that animal to make an ethical shot. You need that repetition. You need that confidence. You need that, you know, strength in shooting. It's huge, you know, to have your shoulder hurt like that and throw 100 arrows, but you know you're going to be putting every arrow where you want it into every animal, every target, every deer, whatever it is. It's about that confidence, and a little pain goes a long way. It feels good. You know, I do some weird shit, man. I'll literally stand in my living room and hold my bow out with my arm extended after doing some reps, after shooting my bow right at dusk, and just hang it out there as long as you possibly can. And that helps when you're sitting in a tree for 6-7 hours and all of a sudden a deer comes out and, you know, you're all locked up and you're tight and shit and you pull your bow back, but you're strong in your arm and you follow through and you're confident. Like, shit's going to really just happen.
And you know, it's dope that you bring that up, because that's what a lot of athletes can relate to, and anyone that works hard, is it takes the amount of dedication to that point. Right. Which leads me to, you know, Trev and I getting our saddles for the first time, and we hop in a tree and we make it happen. The same week we made it happen, actually.
Yeah.
Opening day private land, I made it happen. First sit, first saddle kill with a button doe. And then Trev, later on that week, I think it was a Thursday, if I remember correctly, you smacked one out of the saddle first time.
Yeah, I went over that. Yeah, it was, I got out of work early and fucking went and smacked one at noon.
That's what I mean. And then shortly after, I'm like, oh, hell no. And then I got a button buck out of a saddle. It's like, all right, boom. 2 antlerless tags down.
And I said, fuck that, and I shot another one.
Yeah. And that's how we are. We keep on going back and forth.
Yeah, but it's a friendly it's not even a competition. It's just driving the next person to keep doing better,
hunting.
Man. That's all
it's loving hunting is what it is. And this is over a period of time. It's not like, actually, my first tags were in September. My next tag was in October, which was actually what you probably touched on. I actually took a little pee-pee break, so I don't know exactly what you said, but we hit up the area where What the Funk was, and we were...
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't even talk about that.
Right,
no,
cool,
no.
Cool. So...
No, I only told my deer hunting stories, not yours.
We, selfish motherfucker.
Sorry.
So we hit up the area where What the Funk is, right? And we're going in, and you probably heard it from a latter episode, but we won't get into too much detail, is... We mainly went there for filming and footage, right? And we have tags, of course, and we accessed through a spot where you think is best, and we could go either to the killing tree or I was just reading the sign, which is now what we call, I don't know what we call it, maybe the highway would be a good name for it.
Yeah.
Because it's just all the sign was leading up the mountain, up the mountain, and the killing tree, as we get maybe about 75 yards in, the killing tree is towards the west. So we stopped for a moment. I'm like, yo, Trev, do you think we should continue going on, or do you think I should go up the mountain? And this might sound redundant, but long story short is like the sign was so predominant right there that you're like, D-Rock, you should go with your gut. And I'm like, all right, I'm going up the mountain. And you were like, all right, I'll be at the killing tree. And we set up. Now, getting up the mountain is not easy. This is something that...
I hate hunting up there.
Well, there's a reason why you go to the killing tree, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's easier. Yeah. Plain and simple.
Yeah,
it's just
easier.
Sure. You have a ground blind maybe 50 to 70 yards to the right, and then you have the killing tree.
Yeah.
And it's a dub set, too.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I like that. So all the sign at that moment was leading to the top of the mountain. So I took it nice and slow, which, in my early years of whitetail hunting, I learned slower is better. Less sweat, less scent. And it lets you really kind of observe the area and look for sign the slower you go. So getting to the top of the mountain, I stopped. I stopped down at a really run down kind of crossway of highway. And there was 3 trees to choose from because I did have my Lone Wolf Climber that day, the Assault. And I was really examining where I had the most shooting lanes, which 3 trees, according to the sign, though. And the wind that we were having, this is the crazy part, and it probably leads to why I got the buck that I got that day, is the wind was more like a southeast. So it was more of a crosswind, but it was still with thermals. You'd think the thermals would be dropping down the mountain, right? Because it was an afternoon hunt. So going in, right, where I was sitting on that one beech tree that I climbed, which was like a split beech tree.
But that's a weird... Going back to those thermals on that spot, is that it's kind of weird is that you're at the bottom of one hill,
right,
but the plateau in the top of another. So like
with the ridge, the little funnel right there.
So you actually, in all actuality, the way that you play the thermals up there is that it goes down, it comes down off the top ridge, and it sets onto the flat.
But I was wearing my down vest that day, yep. And you know how with anything down, like you have some of the feathers poke out sometimes. Yeah. So I took that and just kind of threw it into the air, and it was all leading into that funnel that I was hunting on the right side of the right bank side of that funnel. And everything was going into that funnel, like really like high streaming down. Like, all right. I'm like, if I have a good chance this hunt, this beech tree is going to be it, because they weren't running the funnel. They were running both sides of it.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was getting sucked in, it was very interesting, man, because That's something that a lot of people should pay more attention to. Like, whatever works for you, whether it be the Windicator powder or the milkweed that everyone's stuck on, or even just like myself, just a little down feather and plucking into the air.
Any type of floater you can do. And get the
little piece of cotton, whatever.
Of seeing what that's doing. Because the powder's cool, but as long as you can see that and just watch it drift, that's the best part, man.
Yeah, because the powder seems to dissipate. You know what I'm saying?
It does a bit. It does a bit. So, anyways, this beech tree, the split beech tree, it's not typical for a climber to use, or even maybe steps, maybe the wild edge steps, because they dig in a bit better.
And it's all fucking beech trees up there.
Yeah, and this diesel split beech trees, like, to even get into the bottom base of the climber, you have to do a pull up and get your feet up into the base. Remember when I showed you that shit? You're like, what the fuck? You're like, nah, I don't want this treat. We'll get to that in a second.
I set up in the oak next to it.
Yeah. So, I'm just there for, the both of us are there for footage. You're at the Killing Tree. I'm at the top ridge of the mountain. And we're just sitting there filming, getting great footage, seeing some movement. I text you that there was this other buck that couldn't really see too far how many points, and he was running down the ridge, whatnot, on the other side of the funnel. And then a doe came by as well, like movement. So it was promising. And I text you, okay, doe's coming towards you, get ready, because you still had a doe tag to fill. And the funny part is longer before anything happened, is this buck comes up. I see horn right away, but it was like through shrubs, and didn't really know what it was right away, but it's coming up on south wind, not southeast. So it was like just off of that, and then plus the other side was the funnel. So it was in between the stand and the funnel. So he's riding that funnel, but he hasn't gotten to my stand yet. So maybe 25-ish yards, and I see him. And the shitty part is we're there to film, capture footage, and I have all the cameras set up. And I think I hit record, but I actually hit the settings button. It's like, what the fuck? And I didn't know this at this time. And he got my blood boiling, so I just draw back, and I just watch him kind of just graze and do his thing. And you could tell it's a young buck. By then, it's a spike buck. But for some reason, my heart was going. It's like, fuck, I got 2 buck kills. We're here for footage. Or 2 buck tags. I'm here for footage. I want to get a buck kill on camera. I'm like, what better way? He's got my blood going already. And he's a big-bodied spike. And, some of my boys even asked me, why would D-Rock burn up his buck tag with a spike? Guess what? My fucking heart was racing.
That's right.
That's why.
Whatever gets you going, man.
Because being the hunter that we are, the only way you're going to learn how to kill deer is by fucking killing deer.
And I had the camera pointed at him. I had the fucking Air Pro, pointed. Us Mexicans, we don't use GoPro. We use the Air Pro. It's cheaper.
The day your heart stops pumping, man, stop hunting.
I'm just saying.
Give it up.
I'm at full draw, and right as he gives me a shot, I blasted him. And that was the beginning of the high point.
And what'd you shoot him with?
With the Zeus.
Oh, yeah. That's what
rocking my Ritual 35.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So I blasted him. And he didn't run no more than like 25 yards. Called Trev, buck down, blah, blah, blah. And we did the spiel. And everyone knows from now that
D-Rock got pissed on.
Yeah. So we drug it down the mountain, right? I called him up from Killing Tree, so I came up, got the doe, whatever, or the buck rather, and dragged it down. And it was already dark by then, because it was pretty late, maybe just after 5, I don't know. And when we got to the truck, he's like, "You got a flashlight?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, you know what?
I don't know how I didn't have a flashlight. Like,
we both didn't. I think my headlamp ran out of batteries. I don't know. It was weird. Weird situation. And Trev's like, I've done this gazillion times. I'll just do it. I'm like, all right, fuck it. And we brought it down to like the down slope to easily clean a deer and leave the guts out of the hunting area at that time. And, he's cleaning it. He's doing a good job. And I'm like, shit, you could tell that you've been doing this a long time, because it's dark as shit. And he's fucking just skinning the fuck out of this. I'm like, you can tell you've been doing this a long time. And as soon as I said time, he fucking nicks the fucking bladder.
No, I squeezed the piss sack and it came out of the cut dick hole and it went squirting right at it.
So this dude is like fondling this fucking buck as he's skinning it, and it blasts me in the fucking mouth.
That's what's up.
Yep.
Bro, talk about
we
hunting experience.
We swallowed it off with some
Fireball. I didn't swallow. I spit it first.
Oh.
I'm a spitter, not a swallower. I don't do that shit. I keep my throat clean.
Yep.
You know, we're all about cleanliness. So, anyways, yeah, that was pretty gross.
Yeah.
It kind of tastes like ammonia. I mean, shit, disgusting. But I was able to kind of see the plus side of it is like the whole experience. It's all about that, you know, full-fledged. Getting blasted in the face. Trev's laughing his ass off. I'm like, break out your camera. We need to film this shit. And we just toasted Fireball. And it was a really good experience. Because this is a place where every time we go in, it seems like I pull something out. And that's where you got your success story. Because we like led into What the Funk. You know, you were freaking out.
Property I shot my first buck on that I called in. So
that's what I'm saying. And then you got permission on the other end of it where we discussed like where this motherfucker would be bedding.
Yeah.
And you made it happen. So that's really cool. So shortly after that, right, is when I went to Maryland.
Yeah.
It was Connecticut. Yeah, then Maryland.
Maryland, yep.
So dipping into that as we discussed a bit is I don't want to keep on ranting. There's got to be more questions, man. Enough of me talking.
No. We got to hear a little bit of it. Let's hear it. So what was the high points of Maryland then, I guess?
All right. So leading it into that is like we hunted hard. I'll do a quick version because there's going to be a better version, more detailed, I should say, on Kills It podcast with the Modern Assassin is going into Maryland, you know, you don't know what to expect. All he said is get hip waders. So I'm like, fuck. You know, this is not going to be an easy hunt. So the very first sit was eventful. You know, we did Out of the Swamp in Timber where, you know, out of state, as soon as you register for the Maryland DNR, is you have, I believe it's 3 and 3, like 3 Sika deer and 3 whitetail. So I still have tags burning in my pockets right now as we speak. So we go in first night.
They allow that many fucking deer down there?
Bro, that's how it is.
That's awesome.
Between the Sika deer and the whitetail, yeah, for sure.
I guess more or less, what was the most challenging part of Sika deer hunting?
The swamp. The marsh. That is the hardest thing in my experience that I've ever faced, in the sense of the best advice if you're going to hunt that. And, you know, our boys, Stephen Clark, just came out of that as well. Is like, if you don't have a walking stick, you might as well just get ready to take a bath.
Yeah, you guys talk about it all the time on how challenging it is to do such a thing and how that hunt is so tough. And it's just like, I hear all the stories, you guys talking about it constantly. They're like, dude, you're not be able to use sticks, a climber. You're not, like, you need fucking wild edge steps to get up these trees. Like,
bro,
it's just like,
I'm just saying, I hate to say it, and the only reason I hate to say it is because there'll be other people that go in with climbers, and there'll be other people that go in with sticks. And I'm not an expert on any of those, but know what I'm an expert at is logic. In the sense of, okay, well, this ain't working. I need to fix that.
Right.
So in that, to narrow it down to that basic kind of primal feeling is you can't use sticks in the fucking marsh. You can't use a climber in the fucking marsh. It's like you need to walk in with the wild edge steps or equivalent and have your, whether it be the out on the limb podium or maybe the ambush platform or the wild edge perch that worked for me when I was out there, is less is better, because you just need to be able to pack everything on your pack and that's it. Why? Ask me why.
Why?
Well, motherfucker, I'm about to tell you. I'm glad you asked. Is the frag grass, right? It feels like arms reaching out and grabbing you, pulling you back. What I mean by that is, like, if you have a climber, guess what? That frag grass is ripping you back. So you're pushing forward and you're in hip waders with swamp up to your thighs. And going through that is not easy because guess what? You're not going to see, even with a light, right? Because you're going in before any kind of first light or last light. And, or not last light, rather.
So it's like going through a tunnel with no light.
Well, I'm just saying, you're stepping on falling down trees that you don't even know that are there, so you're going to fall, hence the walking stick. And then you have your bow on the other hand, so if you can invest in a good sling, I guess that'd be a really good piece of advice.
No shit.
But even then, you want to lead with either the walking stick or the bow to break that, give you that initial break walking through that fucking swamp, yo. I'm telling you, it's one of a kind. Like, some people might get offended, oh, it's not the hardest hunt or this or that. It's like, guess what, motherfucker? If you haven't experienced that shit, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, because that was the hardest hunt that I've been on, not just for big game, but ever in my life. And I've hunted a lot of shit, like swamps for gator in Louisiana, getting tore up by mosquitoes. And guess what? In these marshes in Maryland hunting sick deer, mosquitoes are still there. Right. So Garrett Benner, the modern assassin, put it best. It's like, because the marshes are beautiful, man, the salt marshes. I want to retract into something more positive. Is when you're in there, not only the fact that I got to see a really good stag in stand, the first morning sit ever of me hunting sika deer and calling one in is just beautiful, right? You know, the sun rising after a long troop in, probably about 3 miles through hell. And you get to sit there and watch all that happen was beautiful. But not only that, to really just soak everything in. You know what I mean? It's just very, very different. And then learning the fact of the terrain and really learning that. It's just very different, man. It really evolves you as a hunter. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but
no, whatever. I get it.
You were going the right place.
So, so you've had success in Connecticut. You've had success in Maryland. You've took down animals in all states. Now you move yourself to Ohio. What happened in Ohio?
So shortly after Maryland, that was a high in itself, and come back to home and that whole balance, do the family thing for a few days, and then head back out to Ohio is...
What were your goals on Ohio, I guess?
Big buck.
Big buck.
Big Ohio buck. The Buckeye State. Rock on Ohio. That's my favorite college team. And then Penn State, and then so on and so forth. I mean, what do you like? Because you're a cheesehead.
Yeah, I'm a Penn State college guy.
Oh, all right.
My grandfather played college ball at Penn State, so it was kind of like
no shit.
Kind of like
my grandfather played my grandfather. My grandfather played center for Pitt.
Your English is fucked. No, for who?
Pitt.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I have his ring. Yeah.
Oh no shit.
Yep.
Badass.
I'm just saying, football's in the family. But
so your goal was to shoot a big Ohio buck? Because I mean, like going throughout the whole entire thing, like you were passing this buck, passing that buck. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, stick this motherfucker.
I know, man.
And I'm like, I see it now, like Ryan Davis and Keith Chirac. These dudes are passing deer. And actually, shout out to him, dude. He just smoked a fucking Ohio
Diesel 9
booner.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so you went there in the intentions of shooting a big deer. So I'm waiting, and it happened.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, I was going into it because, you know, I didn't get my stag. It's funny to retract a bit in Maryland. You know, seeing the stag on the first morning sit, it was too far away with a bow with as many twigs and debris in the way for a clean shot. Came into 47 yards, still no shot. I ended up getting my hind with my muzzleloader at 25 yards. It was like a super clean shot, nothing in the way. So it's ironic how things work out. But I feel that happened so I wouldn't get spoiled. Because my first year whitetail hunting, I got 6 bucks down, or 6 deer down, 2 monster bucks. One in Waterbury and one in Missouri. So that kind of spoiled me, you know. And I feel like my sika deer hunt did the complete opposite. It let me appreciate.
Right.
Not just because it was on my birthday or anything other than just really hard work going in. Going into the spot was a troop. But coming out, dude, I almost fucking died. It's like that whole meme of like, you don't know how good a shape you are in until you drag out a deer, or whatever the fuck that is.
Yep.
It's like, it's so 100 on that. It's like, you don't know. And that was brutal. I almost fucking died. Check out Kills That Podcast if you want to see a little clip of that. It's like I'm fucking huffing wind and spitting because it was tough getting it out. And that was a little sick deer. Like, never mind an Ohio buck. So fast forward to the Ohio is, you know, I went in with the intentions of like, yeah, I want to take a big buck down. Like, that's my mission. That's the East Coast mission. It's like, we're hashtag Beast Coast, the hardcore hunting house, or house of hardcore hunting, and that's our mission. You know, we really want to show that the everyday man can do it with persistence. Or woman, you know, the hunter. Whatever you are, a little kid, a little boy, a little girl, if you have the right mentor, if you push yourself, you're going to let it happen. So what Trev was referring to is, you know, the first sit there and going in, you know, or not the first sit, the first morning sit. Because it seems like my first sit is always a flunk. We always see and hear movement, but nothing, a real good shot. First morning sit, huge 8-pointer, especially for us Connecticut guys.
Yep. Huge 8.
If I had to put a number on it, definitely 120's 8. It's like, that's tough to pass. Gary Hall, shout out to DMM Customs, another sponsor. You know, no promo codes, sorry guys. But if you want custom arrows, shout out to Gary Hall at DNM Customs. He even said that's a hard buck to pass. Because it is, man. I saw this monster fucking, to us, monster,
yeah, it's a big boy.
Especially myself, you know, monster fucking 8 passing through and he was flaunting his broadside, man. Like, he would
knew.
Not even know that I was there, but he would walk, show his broadside, like, hey, walk again. Oh, hey. Like, walk again. Shoot me. Like,
but those are the deer we got to let go to get those big ones if you want to get a big one.
It was the hardest thing
tough.
that I had to learn this season is how to pass. And for a newer whitetail hunter, like, that's why I feel like I evolved so much. Because from the first day to the last day, it's like I was encountering huge monster bucks, but way too far away throughout Ohio. Shout out to Keith Chirac, because he knows his shit. We're going to have him on soon in the podcast and talk whitetail hunting tactics, because this is I could honestly say Ohio breeds some fucking nasty killers. I mean, you got Clint Casper, you know, Keith Chirac, amongst others, and they're comparable to any Midwest hunter as well when it comes to whitetail. And I say that, you know, with confidence. Because leading up to the last day, right, or second last day, we sit in a spot, or we go into a spot, and it's been a long, hard hunting week. You know, every morning, every afternoon, like, that's what we're doing. We're living it. And we knew the second last day, the next day was going to be a rain out. So it's like, not that will deter you from shooting a big buck, but the chances are slimmer. Plain and simple.
You got to play your odds.
We have proof of that, too. I have it on film. That day, I'll retract a little bit and go back to the second to last day. It's just the last day, we saw big-ass bucks bedded under pine trees. Big-ass pines. Throughout the rain. That's their umbrella. I mean, now that you can't hunt those pines, right. I'm just saying it's just things change. So chances of hitting something big before the big rain, you should take advantage.
And you're not there during the pre-rut or the rut or anything. It's early season at this point.
Well, I guess for Ohio, actually the action was a little late, according to what Keith was saying. Is just usually by that time, it was right around my birthday. Just after, rather, it was like October 20-something. And usually they have better movement, but this year, no. Only because of the weather. But back to the story is, like, second last day, you know, we were filming everything, man. The entry, the access. We get wheezed at. We're, like, walking up to a creek, and there's a ton of fucking sign. Good sign, too, like big scrapes, big rubs. And we're not directly walking on that trail, but we're walking to access the creek so we can, because thermals are coming down and accessing through that wind was bringing all thermals into the creek. So it's like, all right, let's have the wind to our face and access the creek. Because what deer Not that they always or may have been, but what deer are really just chilling at the creek unless they're thirsty, right? Is that right or no?
I mean, I don't see deer.
I mean, you guys are more experienced
No,
than
they
me,
don't.
so
They
I'm just saying.
No,
unless they're taking a drink, they're not there.
It's not like the water hole at work, you know? Like they're just...
I'm just saying. They're like, hey, Jimmy, you see this hunter over here? No, they're not doing that. So that being said, though, as we're coming into the first set, is we get wheezed at. But we don't see the deer anywhere. And the deer didn't panic because we eventually started seeing where it was at. And it was a doe that wheezed at probably the noise because we were downwind. And it was cool to see that and really acknowledge that because they didn't freak out and they nonchalantly just walked away and we followed the creek back up into our set. Sitting there, right? You know, it was, I don't want to say a slower night because there was a lot of movement, but we were just in the timber overlooking ag. And you see all the bigger bucks. It was 3 bigger bucks come out in the ag. Honestly, maybe 200-300 yards away, but you could see them clearly. Just running the ag, pushing some does. It's like, wow, that's so cool to see, like the natural reaction and movement. And then shortly thereafter, you know, I'm like dozing out because we've been hunting hard all week. I've been waking up early in the morning to get in the stand, and then we come back for a little break and go in for the afternoon. So that being said, it's second last day, so like I'm run down. You know, I've been saving myself for that bigger buck, and I'm like dozing off with the bow between my legs, dozing off. I actually rest my forehead on my top cam, and I close my eyes. It felt like a couple seconds. I don't know how long it was. And this is an afternoon hunt. This is actually, you could catch this video on my IG, the first D-Rock, where people say, oh, camos don't kill deer. I guess the arrows do because I'm rocking my base layers, which is, you know, my safety harness with very light, like I think I was wearing like my Matco all-weather jacket, whatever. Very, very light. And he wakes me up to get a description of what we're doing there, and I get into a little bit of detail. And before you know it, man, these does come out from top of the mountain. He's like, deer, deer, deer. And I look around, and boom, I see what's not supposed to be there, which are a few does. And they're doing their thing, you know, feeding, grazing, whatever. And then from behind us, downwind, which is the crazy part, is this is how you know it was like the pre-rut. This fucking 11-pointer. At the time, you know, all I'm seeing with my eyes is like maybe 8 points. And he's coming up the creek. And he fucking jumps up through briars, tries to like step over briars, but gets caught up and then just crashes through them. So you could tell it's a younger buck because he's like, enough is enough. And just kind of impatient and blows through it. Comes in, head down, right under a stand like I could have spit on him. Gives one grunt and kind of comes towards the does, head down, starts grazing. The does spread out. I turn on all the cameras, and Keith actually kind of stops me. Hold on. Let me wet my whistle. So Keith kind of stops me as I'm pulling back to full draw, because I decided as he was coming up the creek, right? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I have one more day. It's going to be a shit-ass rainy day. And I see this, at first, was an 8-pointer. He gets closer, it's a 10-pointer. He's under the stand. I see 11 points. I'm like, look at the fucking character on this dude. And I can spin on him. I'm like, tomorrow's going to be a washout. If I don't take him now, and I'm not going to have another chance to come to Ohio probably, I'm like, I would kick myself in the ass if I didn't get this 11-point out-of-state buck, right? Like, I think that's fair to think that way. I'm not a very experienced whitetail hunter, but like everything I've been learning, surrounding myself around big buck killers, that's what I felt. So he comes up crashing, blows out the does as he comes in grunting. I get to full draw, and Keith, as I'm pulling back, Keith's like, yo, D-Rock. I'm at full draw now, and he's like, you gotta shoot this buck. And I kind of like look to my left, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what do you think, motherfucker? I'm at full draw. Like, what do you think's gonna happen? Like, yeah, I'm gonna take him. And he's like, hold on. So I'm at full draw. What felt like forever was probably maybe, I don't know, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And he got the GoPro on. He got his camera on. My camera was running through the whole time, so I get this kind of encounter from the creek up to, and I just release, and this motherfucker did like the high Jackson fucking high jump, what you would see in the Olympics. Went running after he landed, crashed into one tree, then the other like he was drunk. He ran to the left, ran to the right, and he did the like up and over, last breath, like dying growl. It was just pretty fucking awesome, man. I just watched the whole thing, taped the whole thing, and we had it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different angles because his trail cam actually caught it.
No shit.
Yeah. Not the video, but the picture.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, whoa. So, like, as far as action, that was a pretty cool high point because we were doing scent control and wind playing the wind the whole time. I didn't have no kind of hat on. Like, I'm rocking a mohawk now because I cut my hair. I had the Modern Assassin mask with my mohawk. Like, I look like Foghorn Leghorn from Looney Tunes. That's what I look like. The big-ass fucking rooster. The big cock, you know? And it was really cool experience. Just getting down. He filmed everything, recovering, and, again, going back to you think you're in shape until you drag a deer out. It was only like 150 yards. I made it to 100 yards. He brought his truck. We loaded up into the truck and gutted it with the shittiest knife ever because I didn't have my knife in my pack.
Oh, yeah. I heard this story.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
And I'm like, yo, Keith, because, you know, Keith is Big Buck Killer. I'm like, yo, you got a knife? He's like, yeah, I got a knife. I go to use the knife. Dude, he's Big Buck Killer. His shit is dull as fuck from using it. I'm like, you don't have anything better? He's like, I got this little fucking... Is the like littlest fucking shank ever, right? And I had to skin this deer or gut this deer with the fucking stupidest little fucking folding knife. But man, will I forever remember that shit. It's just one of those things. It's like just him and I, the struggle of the week, you know, leading up to that. Long story short is like if I didn't smack that deer, I would have came home eating tag soup because the very next day we didn't see shit. It's just a complete washout. Everything we saw was like I said, the big bucks bedding under the big pines. And it was just, it wouldn't have worked out. So I'm so happy with that alone. And then, you know, shortly to come after, you know, I hunted a week in Connecticut, saw Fabio in stand, which like was very, very good thing to see in Connecticut. Fabio, I've been hunting for the past 3 seasons now. This is the 3rd season. And he's a 140s 10 this year. You know, his mass is huge. Like the first picture I ever showed you, oh, that's a 200-inch deer. It's like, well, it looks like that, but honestly,
when he's walking away, he's
dude,
like past his ears.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
He's a good deer.
Yeah, really good deer. And I saw him in stand, so that was very promising. I didn't want to stink up the place and burn up the place, so I've been really choosy with wind, but one thing I want to kind of fall back on is learning from the people you're hunting around, right? And that's why I feel like I've evolved as a hunter, hunting with Garrett in early October and then directly after with Keith. And even leading up to with you, Trev, is like learning all the different techniques and applying what you like and what you can use from what you learn with hunting with different people. And you apply it to your hunt. That is so crucial, man. And Garrett and I were talking about this today. Like in podcast land, I don't know when this is going to be released. Maybe for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. You know what? Let's release it Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. You know, we hope you had your fall turkey. But this is a Thanksgiving special. We just made it so. Is hunting with Garrett it's a different learning curve because he's hardcore and very predominant in the areas he knows, so he's very in tune. And if you don't follow what he's into, you better make damn sure you're going to come out with a kill, like my lucky ass did, because I went at the last day of hunting, or towards the last day of hunting, or at the end of the week with him. It's like I went what he has taught me leading up to that day, but it was against what he was trying to say that day. If that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it kind of sounds redundant. But at the same time, it's like, even with Keith, is leading up to the day. Everything that I'm learning is like, okay. And he's like, well, you want to hunt here or this other spot? I'm like, well, everything that you've been telling me, we should be at this spot. And it happened, though. Like, what I'm trying to say is, like, really absorb what people are trying to show you. Because guess what? Even those people that know what the fuck they're talking about, they're human still. And they get wrapped up in their own world that sometimes they forget to see the plain as day. What they're trying to teach you is what I'm trying. Does that make sense?
Right.
I don't know. I sound like fucking rookie, I feel. But what I'm trying to say is take what you love and learn from the people you surround yourself around that are really successful hunters and apply it to your everyday. Because it leads us back to New York. What do you got for that?
So, I mean, what were, like, your thoughts, like, going into it? Like, what did you think when you pulled up there?
For Boehm Bridal?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, Boehm Bridal.
All right. So, you know, leading up to... thank you for asking, because leading up to the experience is like, this is the first time I don't have to drive.
Yeah, this is true.
Like,
this is very true.
And I was like, you know what, Trev? You sit up front with Maddie and Caddy Cowboy, and, like... I'll just sit back and relax. But it wasn't much room for relaxing because 3 dudes in a fucking dump truck, basically, a flatbed. 4-door, it's spacious. Shout out Scranton Motors. It was comfortable for the amount of time, but it wasn't exactly luxury. Definitely very, very useful. So going into it, I didn't really know what to expect, man, to be very honest. Everyone has this story and picture of high fence, right? And we knew going into it that some of us were going to be in the fence and some of us were going to be free range outside the fence, hunting. So going into it, I had this maybe expectation of, all right, it's going to be easy hunting. We're going to see big deer every fucking day. We'll have unlimited amount of opportunities to shoot, but we're there for not just filming, but maybe to help out their management. So walking into the lodge, it was kind of weird because we pulled up. It's like, is anyone there? Is this the right spot? Then we saw the sign for Boehm Bridal whitetails, and I believe that's when you said, "Oh yeah, someone's in there." Yeah. And I think that's when you saw Bear Balls looking out the window. Not with his bare balls, but Brad, the I guess. Housekeeper, camp chef, camp keeper, whatever you want to. He kept us in line.
Speaking of chef, how was the food?
Dude, the food was amazing. Like, Trev and I have a regimen so we can stay, I don't want to just say just healthy, but maybe in shape for hunting season. Guess what? That was spoiled.
Oh, it was so bad,
dude. Like, every plate.
Not even the food, but dude, there's like fucking. Oh, you want fruit snacks? You just go into the pantry, get your fucking fruit snacks.
You want M&Ms? They're everywhere.
There's candy everywhere. Jars of candy, fucking
chips,
nuts, berries,
beer,
fucking
liquor, wine,
whatever the fuck you want.
Women. No, maybe.
No
if
women.
We asked, I guess, maybe, but...
Well, we could have asked, but we didn't. We're faithful to our wives.
Of course.
And, so Brad is looking out the window. He really invites us in a respectable, kind of true fashion. There's this blackboard as we walk in that's a message for the last camp that was there. And, every day there's a message, which is cool because it's very personal and it keeps you in tune to why you're there.
I mean, halfway through the trip, Brad was like, "Nothing for you fuckers," and that was on the.
That was one of the
board,
messages. He just ran out of words.
Fun. Yeah,
because we probably took the words right out of him that night.
Yep, it just makes us feel at home.
For sure. And when we walk, no, you're good. And everyone's in. I kind of went in last to start filming. Stupid me, trying to get the moment and footage and the whole reason why we're there. Walking through as a first-time guest, opening the door, seeing the fucking 5-star menu.
Yeah.
As soon as you walk in, you have to take off your boots and change into your slippers because that's a requirement to the checklist of what you need to bring to Boehm Bridal is a pair of slippers, like house slippers, to keep it nice and neat. And you see the 5-star menu, you walk through, my immediate instinct was to turn left and go into the main foyer or kind of living area with a huge fireplace, bone everywhere, man.
Right.
Like, I don't mean just bone like what we see in Connecticut. Even this right in front of me, like, this is a really big buck here in Connecticut, right? What's in front of me in Slay Studio is, what do you think? This like 150s deer.
Yeah, it's 143 and 5/8.
Oh,
I don't know, but
you just kind of guessed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of.
No, I had it measured.
Yeah, that's kind of gay. But anyways, it's a good buck nonetheless. But here, it's like you double that. It's like there's bone everywhere, and it's amazing.
That's the mass. You get like 12-inch bases.
Right. So I'm like walking through on the kitchen table. There's like a 100-inch shed, just one side on the kitchen table. I'm like, whoa! And you keep on walking through, and you see the boys coming out through the video. You know, Brad, the housekeeper, then Caddy Cowboy, our sponsor, and then the Modern Assassin. You know, just kind of ruling shit. Then Trev just having a good time, laughing his ass off, and you see the little living area with all the drinks and stuff. It's like, dude, it's gonna. It
was like being at home, dude.
Good time.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Do you feel that experience, your first time there, of all that overwhelming factor, took you a little bit out of your hunting element?
A bit, because it kind of humbled myself. It's like, whoa.
Little luxury,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, how did my Mexican ass, I've only been hunting whitetail for my 3rd season, how did I get here so quickly? You know, because this is stuff like, I mean, you heard Trev's story. You know, he's been doing this all his life, trying to get to this point. Here I am. You know, I come out of the woodworks 2018 in front of Trev, like, let's start a podcast.
Right.
You were there for all of it, Ghost Hunter.
I know.
You know, just shit. You know, life smacked you in the face, and now you're involved, which is awesome.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, for sure, man. And then, you know, myself is like, I always stay low key, but to be with the right people. You know what I mean? It's like, we're Connecticut hunters. Who do I gel with most? And it brought us together at Boehm Bridal. Ghost Hunter, I'm sure you're going to be there next year.
I'll be around.
Yeah, for sure. And the experience is like what spoiled me again. You know, my first year hunting, 2017, I was spoiled. Here we are. 2018 was rough.
Yes.
Yeah. You and I focus on new properties.
We just focused on hunting together and group hunting. You know, like just us.
And newer properties too, though. Like we didn't really know.
Yeah. We took on properties and then we all hunted as a group together. So it was kind of like now going back, I mean, in 2019. And
what was the first plan that I said?
You know, just doing our roots and just hunting and doing our thing. And we've just been successful that way, you know?
Yeah. And that's what I mean. It's like this year, going into deer season, I was like, you know what, Trev? We need to focus on ourselves.
And we all did
and what we do best.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here today, sharing our success stories. And New York was a humbling experience because there, again, I got spoiled.
What did you think, like, when you were in the tree stand for the first time? Like, what, and you had the first deer. I mean, I know the experience that, like, I could tell when you came back to camp, and we every single night when we came back to camp, everybody whipped out their SD cards, dude, and they went in the fucking computer, and it was just like, yo, check out this deer I saw, check out this deer I saw. Like, even if it was free range, if it was in the fence, it didn't matter. Like, everyone was just sharing their experience for the day because everybody had fucking a lot of experience. But what was your first experience, or what was your first thoughts that went through your head on your first sit? Because it was a night sit.
Dude, going in was very easy, actually. Boehm Bridal makes it very easy. Shout out to Steve MP and Farmer Bobo, a.k.a. Roberto. He brought me to a standing corn site, and on the opposite end was, I think it was Cloverfield food plot, close to a management stand. But we were in the total opposite end. We were in the tree stand just into the timber, just off the ag. And I remember we were there for maybe an hour and a half. This movement in the corn stalks, like in the cornfield. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, here we go. You know, first action of the night. And before then, on the opposite end in the clover field, we saw like does grazing and shit. Like, it's cool. Like, you're seeing movement right away in stand. You took the side by side into the access point. You know, that was the best stand for the wind of that night. And this movement in the corn pile, it's like, is that corn stalk moving or is that antler? You know, because it's through the trees. I got my Lumex, you know, really nice camera, kind of zoomed in all the way. And you see bone, but it looks like corn stalks, so you can't really tell how big the bone is. And it's just crashing through, and it's through twigs and shit, maybe about, 60 yards away, and it starts piling in closer and closer, down to 40 yards, and he breaks through the corn stalk into the clearing. And it's this massive, 250-inch fucking 3-year-old with drop tines called Double D. I was like, holy
Oh, that's
shit.
right. Your first experience was Double D.
Dude.
Which is one of their fucking breeders.
Dude. Just to paint the picture, he's probably over 250 inches, but there was a hunter there that wanted him. The story tells that wanted him and was going to pay 20 grand. Offered 20 grand to take this deer just to paint the picture. And Boehm Bridal said no. Why? Because they have a passion for their deer. It's not about the money. And this is the story that I heard. I won't say from who, but this is the legend or story to be told. Is because Boehm Bridal wants him, as you said, as a breeder to really keep those genes going and clean. Because most of their deer are typical. Typical, huge typical deer. But they do have some junk here and there.
And it's all about management. It's all about management. It's not about... They're just a true love and passion for whitetails. I mean, that's what I gained out of this whole entire experience. Like, spending that time with Steve and Bobo and all those guys, they know fucking whitetails. Like, he's like, go to this stand, be in this place, the wind is going this direction, and you will see fucking deer. And at one point, Caddy Cowboy said something to Steve, and Steve's like, I've killed X amount of fucking whitetails in my life. If you don't believe me, then go to this stand. So I'm like, I'm listening to fucking Steve. Yeah. And so I set up my saddle this way, and sure than shit, the biggest deer that I've probably ever seen on stand comes out. And that was
on free range.
That was on free range. Yeah. And it's not about the big horns. It's not about the money. It's not about this. It's just the fucking passion
for the love of the game.
Love for fucking whitetails, man. And it's just it's an experience up there, man. It's not about killing a big deer. It's not about anything other than the passion and the love for the whitetails.
It's cool that you bring that up because actually the experience through that, right? It's like, how can we subjectively speak with education on high fence hunting if we haven't experienced it, right? So anyone that hasn't experienced it, how you can only say so much is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that we're the most experienced at that, but we have that under our belt in the sense that we could say, guess what?
We've been there. We've done that.
And not even just that, though. The only difference that I noticed between the free range and in high fence deer is the quality of genetics. That's it. So that goes to show, if you want to hunt quality genetically grown deer in the free range, you have to go to those big buck states.
Well, it's not even that, but Steve says it the best. I mean, this guy's been managing deer on free range for fucking X amount of years. I mean, he knows deer, he knows whitetails, he knows hunting, he knows. I mean, this
and they're here on the East Coast. Shit. It's just the amount of pressure. Though.
He shot giants on free range, but it's one thing he says. He goes, "There's only one thing missing from managing whitetails." And that's a fence around it. The best way to manage a whitetail is with a fence around it. I mean, that's number one thing of management, I guess, right at that point. But
I mean,
that's kind of what I took away.
If that's what your key is, yeah, for sure. Especially if you want to see them year in and year out. Yeah, for sure. That was
just cool. It was just an experience.
But leading up to that, it's like using the nor'easter game call and making, rattling them in, big bucks.
Seeing bucks really respond to a fucking grunt call is one of the coolest things.
Just fucking seeing bucks in general, going out there and seeing big deer,
Dude.
We don't see deer like that around here.
Well, I'm just saying, there was some times that, it was a slower morning, you have a bunch of does running around, then you see this one doe going sporadic and kind of, you don't know if she's playing or running away from fear, and then boom, you see this huge fucking massive 200-inch deer just sneak out of nowhere, you didn't even know that was there.
Right.
And just a big monster like that.
And you learn what whitetails are supposed to do and how they do things. Like, I mean, like the set that I went into, there was like fucking 6 scrapes going into the spot. Like, you go in and like Marcus was telling me, he's like, this is what real bucks do. Like, they'll have one scrape here, then they'll have a whole scrape line, more or less on a main trail. Like, they'll have one here, one here, one here, and then another. Like, you can actually see what big bucks or whitetails are supposed to do, and you can really understand, and it effectively worked at home.
So what I want to piggyback off of that is, this is the best thing that I take away from running the high fence, right? Hunting the high fence. Is it really exploits you to learn what big bucks do in a short period of time.
Absolutely.
That's probably the best thing that I take away from a high fence operation like Boehm Bridal. I can't compare it to any other high fence because we haven't done that.
Right.
But what I can honestly say about this one experience personally is, in a very short period of time, you're seeing what huge bucks do on a regular basis, which is they could be rattled in, called in, like you can see what they respond to, don't respond to, all in a compact period of time versus what takes sometimes a lifetime for a regular, or I won't say regular, but like a free range bow hunter does. It's like, that takes a long time to learn all that shit, and we learned it in a week.
Yeah, and those are some things that you may never ever see in a free range.
No,
you might not come across those things. You might not see what a scrape line is, or how a buck actually reacts to a doe, or what a doe does when a buck is coming in the area and she's a hot doe, or how two big bucks, mature bucks, react to each other when they're in the same area and they're going to a scrape, or whatever the case may be. Those things you may never fucking see in the free range. You may never see that. Some may not. I don't know, but I'm just saying is that you are guaranteed to see that during the rut inside of a fence.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And it was just really an amazing experience. Not only just hunting, right, is the deer camp end of it. Like, they made it really easy to just be in lodge and really enjoy each other's company. Like, they're family-based. They don't allow a lot of hunters to hunt their property. And they're very selective in the sense of making sure the people have the love for the game. So the best thing that I could take away from that, I know I said probably the top thing earlier, but the one and only best thing I take away is just sharing deer camp with like you, Garrett, Bear Balls, Maddie, and Steve.
It's not easy to just share deer camp with anybody.
You have to deal with everything.
Yeah.
But it's easy to deal with.
Yeah.
They make it really easy to deal with. I mean, we came prepared with Shabine. The food is phenomenal.
Drink much though. Well, I didn't.
Well, I didn't drink much beer. I actually had a lot of wine. The local wine.
Just enjoyed it, man.
Yeah. It was a good time. We ate really well. If we wanted to, 3 square meals a day. Usually, Trev and I were just hitting up lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
And it's an experience that we will never forget. And leading back to coming home, it's like I got to see Fabio in stand. Trev hit a slammer, his first wall hanger. You hit a slammer while we were out in New York.
All alone.
I'm just saying.
It was like that song, like all by myself. But it was fucking awesome, man.
Oh, yeah, man. And that's what it's all about. So, I mean, this is our bonus episode that we give you the week update, kind of hunting season recap, and let you know what's going on with us.
Can we close it on something though, real quick, or
damn, you're
whatever?
Ready to close?
No, well, not close, but I want to, before we get too far away from it.
I think he's a little anxious.
No, not by any means.
He didn't even have any Shabine yet.
That's not what I meant. I meant like before we close out the whole recap of this, like, what is your goal, yours and Ghost Hunter's goal for the rest of the season?
Let's start with Ghost Hunter.
I'm not even close to done for the season. I have another buck tag to fill. I'm interested in transitioning I have 2 spots that other farms have changed their food sources. So now they have standing food sources up until late November, and they're planning on having it all of December. Never had that luxury. So my goal is to relocate and change my whole strategy for my late season and shoot one of these big slobs that are going into their farm, into their new food sources.
Word. What do you got, Trev?
I already said my goal, but my goal is to obviously shoot a deer that makes me happy in the snow. I mean, that's like my goal for the rest of the season. Like I want to tag out. Whether it's I just want
whatever gets your blood going.
Yeah, whatever gets my blood going. Definitely, even if it's not horns, man. Maybe it is a doe. Maybe I just fucking let it rip in the snow, man. But I want a good kill shot, grip and grin in the snow. That's my goal to finish off the season and tag out.
Awesome, man.
It's a
really
gnarly,
cool.
It's a gnarly feeling. I did it last year for the first time. Christmas Eve, shot a spike in the snow.
Nice.
You know,
that's dope.
How about you, D-Rock? What's your goal to finish off this 2019 whitetail season?
For 2019, I really need to get Fabio. But I tell you what, if a good buck crosses my path and gets my blood going, guess what? I'll meet Fabio next year because it seems like he likes to roam his area. Specifically, I am going to hunt these 3 different doe beddings in his area where I've seen him kind of checking around. So I talked with the Modern Assassin today, specifically podcast land. What is it, the 21st today or some shit like
25th.
25th, whatever. Every day is the same. And
when it's in rut, who gets burnt out more, the whitetails or the hunters?
The hunters.
Yeah,
do.
you get fucking delusional.
Right.
You get fucking,
so,
dude, I stared at a fucking bush for an hour the other day with my binoculars. I'm like, I still think it's a fucking deer.
That's what I'm saying. So that's my strategy. There's a trifecta of doe bedding that I'll be hunting around. Hopefully I can make it connect. But after 2019, I'm going to close out the season. 2020 in New Jersey, I think. Hit up Nikki in New Jersey, and we'll maybe get something good for Tack Driver and cut the Zusos. So that's where it's at,
Let's
man.
shoot some pigs. I want to shoot some pigs.
Oh, they're coming. They're coming. Trade show season's right around the corner, and we're really going to have a good time there.
What do we got lined up for show season, actually? Because we were talking about that. We have, right now is Iowa Deer Classic.
Well, I don't know. We shouldn't talk about that until you're ready to disclose what you've built up. So we'll probably keep it regular. We'll disclose that in a different podcast. So let's end with something really positive. Trev.
Really positive. 2019 is not even close to fucking over. We have all had a very successful, great, healthy, safe season thus far. We've grown together to miles and miles from where we all started and became fucking an amazing team. And I'm very looking forward to the future of all of us together.
You meant very happy, looking forward to.
Yeah, same shit. My language.
Ghost Hunter, what you got?
I'm positive. My round of positivity right now is that my freezers are full. My families are happy. My father got a great deer. I got a nice deer. You guys are sitting pretty, and I couldn't be asking for anything better this season right now.
Word. My round of positivity is this right now. I was bitching earlier before we hit record as why is the podcast the only reason that brings us together? But guess what? That's my round of positivity, the podcast, because it brings us together. Right. So if we didn't have the podcast, we wouldn't have this. So on that note, stay stepping
and stay slaying.
Podcast go straight to hell. Yeah. Speaking of hell, check out East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
We keep it real on East Coast.
First of all, I'm addicted to the show.
I like that. That's cool. Full-bore hunt. You live it, you breathe it.
It's a whole different world.
Just East Coast has a little bit more of an edge and a grind. It's a fantastic thing.
You guys are fucking awesome.
Well, number one is you guys like beer.
I want to feel like I'm hanging with the boys.
You're just guys just showed up.
But I actually saw Jesus. The point where it is now where it's insane.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
I just want to get the realest people possible in the industry. You just got to piss people off. You're not doing it right.
Nothing forced. All fucking natural.